Send something on Instagram.
Okay.
And nah, fuck that.
Oh, okay.
I'd rather have like a stream thing set up, and I don't have it, so I don't want to just send a picture of the Royal Rumble poster on Instagram. Did you watch the Royal Rumble, Bridget?
I think she said she was going to.
She said she was going to stop by here because she wanted to see what the beef was, but I didn't know if she was going to watch the Rumble. I'm curious as to how she liked it. Agreed.
The women's Rumble is better almost every year because the men suck.
I wouldn't go that.
The women have more opportunities for surprises.
Yes, true.
And more interesting things. Y'all can disagree with me. I'm correct. Men's Rumble was shit compared to the women's. Just saying. She got up to Logan Paul's bullshit, and then now she's laying down with us.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I don't blame you because Logan's Paul. So, I don't know if you noticed, but I cleaned myself up. Shaved my head.
Oh, okay.
Trimmed my beard and everything. I did that during Logan Paul. So, like, weird story thing. I've had that ear thing going on, right, for like almost 3 weeks now. Thank you, Bridget. I'll send it here and yeah, I did that already. Let me try it again. Copy. And so anyway,
back to your story.
I realized that I've had like for whatever reason it just kind of popped in my head. I was like, when I shave my head, I feel like normally for whatever reason the pressure goes away, but that like can't be a thing because that doesn't make any sense. Like, why would shaving my head fix that problem, right? So I was like, fuck it. I went out and I shaved my head because I look like shit anyway. I was watching myself on John. John was FaceTiming me, and I'm like, I look terrible. All right, I'll send it there too. But I was like, yeah, no, I look terrible. Let me just clean this shit up. So I do that, and I told Kate this, and Kate's like, that's not a real thing. Like, what? Again, why would shaving anything fix any of that, right? So then Logan Paul comes on, and Kate's telling me how like I missed a spot. I'm like, fuck it, I'll just like shave for real. I won't just buzz my hair. Like, I'm just gonna hop in the shower, shave, get all cleaned up before the podcast. So I go in the shower and I blow my nose in the shower, which I've been doing to try and like get this block out for 3 weeks. And all of a sudden, the pressure in my ear just fucking popped, and it's good. Right after I shave my head, and Kate's like, "That's a placebo effect," and John's like, "Pressure in your ear is not a thing that you can placebo. That's not how it works." So I don't know, but I shaved my head, and my ear is pretty much good now. Like, it's got that weird after your ear pops thing going on. You know what I'm talking about? Where it's still kind of, but
I dealt with it for a month. Yep, drives me out.
We're here.
Bridget likes Bianca, Jade, and Naomi, and Roman is fine as hell. True.
Obviously.
All fucking factual. They've used a lot of talent that have a hard time running the ropes. Good NXT representation this year helped create a better atmosphere for a lot of young talent. This year didn't need a Trish or Lita or, God forbid, Mrs. Taker.
Fact.
See, I would have loved Alita, though. I just got this today. I was expecting at least one.
Victoria, maybe?
I was hoping for a Trish, a Lita, a Victoria, or the deepest part of my soul, an AJ Lee. If Punk's old ass could do it. AJ could do it too. Please. Bridget used a neti pot.
I tried that too, dude. I've tried everything. All right, like I did nasal spray for 3 days, and it said not to use it more than 3 days. I tried a neti pot. I told you I was taking amoxicillin and Dayquil at the same time, and it like fucked my stomach up. Yep. I went on TikTok and tried all the hacks where they're like, "Oh, press an ice cube to the roof of your mouth, or grab your nose and shake it this way, or do that." I tried everything. Nothing was doing it. And then I shaved my fucking head and blew my nose in the shower, and
the gazebo worked.
Gazebo worked.
They're bullshit. Vince said the rumble went longer.
Hey, woo! What's up?
You figured it out?
Yeah, I figured it all out. I thought it would be easier for me to go through email, but that thinking gets me in trouble, is what you're going to find out. So,
okay.
What's going on?
We are just doing a little pre-show, waiting for you to get here. But now that you're here,
thanks.
I think we're good to run the intro and get the show started.
Yeah, let's get it.
Before we do that, for anyone watching right now who doesn't know how we do pay-per-view shows, or for Vince who knows how we do pay-per-view shows but forgets, the way we're going to run this is we'll do our weekly spits and swallows as we normally do after news time. And then we're going to save everything Royal Rumble for the end for our smash and pass of the Royal Rumble. So
yeah.
We'll just do the stuff that happened prior to the Royal Rumble, bang that out real quick. Then we'll get into the meat of the show, which is going to be the Royal Rumble and how we felt about the show. Yeah, let's run that intro.
No, I listen to it all the time. I tell all my friends to Smack It Raw.
Following podcast contains mature content. The views and opinions expressed by the host are not necessarily those of the host. Listener discretion is advised. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 wrestling podcast on Pornhub, or if you're on TikTok, Cornhub, because I can't say that. The Smackin It Raw Podcast. I am your host, the patron saint of podcasting, the Warden Mad Ritter, and I am here with my co-host today. She is host of the She Elite Showcase, Inside the Mind of, In the Crowd, and currently, I believe, tied with Vince for the race for Pornhub Poppy right now. Will is over in Florida enjoying the Royal Rumble, so he can't be here for that. But you officially tied Vince in the race for Pornhub Poppy. Miss Katie Kinzy, baby.
What up?
And for the very first time from the Heel Face Pod, ladies and gentlemen, on Twitter, he is Vince is gone, which is apropos because Vince is not here this week. It is Steve. Steve, how you doing, man?
Hi. Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing? Thanks for having me. This is hilarious. I love it. Love it, man. Can't wait to talk about tonight. Everything's gone on tonight. And of course, all this whole week has been just ridiculous. So glad to be here.
Hold on a second. TC just put something in the chat that I need to look up.
Okay, yeah. You do that. Please.
Hey, can you throw your intro back on so I can...
Listen, you don't know this, but we can see you. You can't see us. So while me and Katie do a little dance every intro, we also love watching the guests dance because they don't know we're watching them. So I got to see the little bit. I got to see
you got me cool.
We watch everyone every time.
Rest in peace, Jessie Jane passed away January 24th, 2024. You may know her from the acclaimed pornographic film Pirates, as well as a lot of other pornographic films. So rest in peace to adult film actress Jessie Jane. But
wow,
if you guys are watching us, I want to thank you. We're here to talk Royal Rumble. We're here to talk the week in wrestling. And if you are watching us live, you guys can check us out on twitch.tv/creation world, where Katie, do you want to do it this time?
What?
This Twitch spiel. I do it every week. You want to do it this week? Amazon and all that?
I get, even though I have to do it on my own show too.
Okay, I got it then. If you're watching us live on Twitch, you can subscribe. If you have Amazon Prime, you have Prime Gaming, which gets you a free subscription every month. Link your Twitch account to your Prime Gaming account, and then go on your computer, and it'll allow you to use that free subscription to support your favorite podcasters, whether it is us here at Smackin It Raw, our friends like Katie over at the She Leads Showcase, or Will Gray over at Botch Spots and Chair Shots. Now, Steve, you're not on Twitch, correct?
No, I'm not. I'm not part of the
I was
cool
going to say,
kids yet.
most of the new stuff that I've seen from you, I was only able to find on Facebook.
Yeah.
So
All of us old people are still clinging to Facebook. So, but I'm thinking I actually got StreamYard recently. I'm thinking about jumping on here too. So yeah, I've been podcasting for a while. I just haven't gotten off of gotten off of Facebook. Thinking about maybe even going to Rumble a little bit too. Who knows?
I mean, we're live on Facebook at facebook.com/creation world, because we're not the old generation, but we're in that middle generation where we're still kind of old, but then we also dabble in the new shit. So you've got that. And we've got youtube.com/creation world, where it is free to like, to subscribe, to comment. Katie, what does that do?
Boost the algorithm, helps find new listeners.
And why would I want to find new listeners, Katie?
Because you're a whore, man.
That is correct, ladies and gentlemen. I am a whore for your views, for your listens, for your likes, for your comments, for your entertainment. I will do just about anything. That is why we are here. So please give us those views, give us those likes, give us those comments, check us out. And if you do that, I also want to watch you flick that bean. Hit that notification bell up top. Get notified every time we go live, whether it's Monday through Friday for the Creation Conversation, every Saturday, 11 p.m. Central, midnight Eastern, for Smackin It Raw, and every other Sunday, including next Sunday, for Getting Offed. All right, Katie. Katie and I talked a little bit before the show. There's a bit of news that dropped this week. We don't want to get too deep into it. We want to give people a place to enjoy this show and have a good time watching it without getting into a lot of the sad, dark negativity of the news that dropped this week. So I'm going to say a piece. I'm going to give Katie and Steve a chance to say anything that they might want to add on, and then we're just going to move on from that and any other news Katie may have. Vince McMahon was sued by a woman that used to work for him. There are allegations that though he stepped down from the board of directors over at TKO, he is denying. Should these allegations be true, they are sick, they are disgusting, and they are awful. And if they are true, then he and anyone else involved needs to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law for committing these crimes. We obviously don't want to sit here and accuse someone of being guilty before proven guilty, but we also don't want to victim blame. And I hate to say it this way, but if you look back, Vince has kind of painted a character of himself that supports a lot of these claims throughout history with the stuff he's done on TV and WWE that doesn't really look great, even though it's kayfabe. It doesn't look great for him. So if he did this, I hope he is held to the fullest extent of the law and justice is paid for Miss Grant. Steve, Katie, got anything to add to that?
Oh, I was gonna go ahead. Okay. I have not been defending Vince at all. If you'd like to, you could go on to Spotify and look for a Heel and Face podcast. Go back to some of my older podcasts. I basically just have been lambasting Vince for a while, and I'm not trying to get on some superiority high horse or whatever. I really tried to give when he first retired, I kind of tried to give him a very even-handed review of, hey, he did a lot of great things for professional wrestling. Hey, he brought it to another level. Hey, he is ruining it by his own hand. But what his actions are indefensible and incorrigible. And as someone who actually has worked with victims of SA in the past, I used to teach at a school of victims, and I'm not expert at it. There's some other deeper things that I could totally analyze about Vince McMahon, the person that, you know, I'm not saying I'm an expert, but fit a very particular type. But the only thing I will say is that, you know, the tragedy of what went on, and in dealing with people who've had are victims of assault, it's just so tragic and disgusting, and to see that this poor woman, and multiple women for that matter, because this isn't the first report. I don't think this woman was even victim zero. I think this is probably one of many or multiple that we'll probably hear about more and more as this drags on. But to think that people's lives are completely ruined. This woman, Janelle Grant, has suffered a post-traumatic stress disorder out of this. It's very disgusting, and I'm shaking kind of thinking about it right now, you know, just the whole ruination of someone's life, and how little regard Vince McMahon has for human life in that respect. So it's just a horrid tragedy, and it's just, you know, bringing down the value of his own company too. Really hurting things that he's created. Really, you know, I think kind of Lance Storm said it best, you know, that I don't know if you guys saw what he posted on his Instagram or not.
But how Vince looked down his nose at professional
Right.
wrestling, and how professional wrestling is looking down their nose at him.
Correct.
And to the point you were making, it was something that I meant to mention is it as a fan of something like WWE, when you see these things, and Katie, you'll be able to relate to this. It sucks when somebody creates something that you love and they turn out to be kind of a shitty person. Like J.K. Rowling and her stance on trans and gay people when it comes to how much we love Harry Potter, a sheer thing that we love that was created by somebody that we don't necessarily agree with a lot of their beliefs and a lot of the things they've said and their actions and things they've done. Obviously, this is a whole different level of disgusting and awfulness. But also in the same vein of somebody created something that we love and they turned out they fucking suck as a person. So I can see what's going on over there. So we are going to move on. Oh,
no. I have one thing to fucking say.
Okay.
Vince McMahon, John Laurinaitis, and everyone involved can go straight to fucking hell. But lower than hell if it's possible. Because that shit was heinous. Inhumane bullshit that I fucking read. Jail. Under the jail in hell.
There we go. Do you have anything else in news and rumors? There's no way to transition out of that. So
No. The only other thing that really, nothing really. So I saw somebody describe it like this. It's basically like a sandwich that they did. You had good news, Raw moving to Netflix, January 2025. You had the shitty news that Vince is a piece of fucking shit, and we all knew it, and now there's more evidence of it. And then you get more good news that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is now on the board of TKO, Endeavor, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Sandwich of shit they do. And if you think about it long and hard about stuff in the past, they do this shit every fucking time. But now I'm on
news releases and then slightly good news. Yeah. Stuff like that.
Y'all ain't fucking slick. I see you. Oh, but that's literally all I fucking had.
Yeah, Dwayne got
but this time they couldn't avoid it this time. And you know, it depresses me because it's exactly it. It's like a little bit of good, a little bit of bad, and it cancels out. And I've seen a lot of memes go around about I'm not letting a guy I used to do this podcast with was like, I'm not gonna let, you know, Vince ruin my enjoyment of WrestleMania. And like the little bit of there is some kind of hope coming out of this. You know, obviously TKO couldn't move forward anymore with Vince McMahon being a part of this, and that is his complete and full termination. I think this time it's going to stick now. The only thing he's got left is his stock options, and I'm pretty sure he's going to probably be forced out of that too. And as far as the positives, not only of The Rock kind of taking over and moving in, but also the fact that Triple H has been holding it down and holding it together, and really not only that, but really putting together solid products. I think that's kind of like the positive that's balancing it out. So I don't know. I don't want to try to apologize for a corporation that I've never met and only have a limited amount of stock in, but it seems like, yeah, they're trying to, they can't avoid it. They got to go to it, or else, there's nothing left, or else they're going to have a dark cloud going over their most important fiscal season of their year.
And that is, I mean, looking at the situation as fans, that sucks, but that's obviously like the least concern with everything else that's going on.
Yeah.
But I am of the same. I grew up loving this. I love it for the people on screen entertaining me, not necessarily the man behind the curtain, the Wizard of Oz, if you will, who's evil and vindictive and terrible. So I plan to continue to watch and support those wrestlers who had nothing to do with this, who are on TV, who need to make a living, who have brought me endless hours of enjoyment and entertainment, including tonight with the Royal Rumble. Just like I continue to watch and read Harry Potter books, despite the fact that J.K. Rowling is a piece of shit, because they bring me joy and entertainment, and I love the world somebody that I don't agree with created. It's a thing. It happens.
Yeah. I mean, what kind of car do you drive? Just out of curiosity, what kind of car do you guys drive? Okay.
You do.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of us drive Fords, but don't go looking up Henry Ford's history.
Yeah,
either.
No, do not.
So, I mean,
no.
Yeah.
I agree. With all that said, it is time to get into the main part of the show. We'll bang out a few spits or swallows. We'll go for, I don't know, like 40 minutes. And then I feel like we all are really excited to talk about what happened at the Rumble. So we'll give the Rumble a good amount of time for us to like dive into everything that happened. And because I know I'm excited about who won the Royal Rumble in both matches. Made me very happy because I yelled at Vince on the show last week about it. And then I was right. So
I was here.
Yeah, that was a whole thing that happened. I put it on TikTok. Steve, it is your first time here, so I'm going to lead you off. Steve, spit or swallow.
So, just the week in general, right?
Yep.
So like, I'm going to spit out, and it's become kind of a theme. Just Tony Khan being on his phone and being off his phone. And thank God you didn't hear a lot other than Collision tonight. And I'm definitely going to spit out Mercedes Moné being on. Did anybody really pay attention? I don't know. Maybe somebody back there, maybe somebody in the audience was kind of had two TVs on at the same time. I don't know. The whole the AEW fans in general. I hope I'm not pissing off some of your fans here, but just like, oh yeah, like Okada's gonna be here tonight, and Mercedes Moné is gonna be here tonight, and MJF's gonna resign tonight.
Hold on. Was Mercedes and Okada on Collision tonight?
No, that's just what I've been hearing. That's all
Okay.
people have been spitting out. That's all people have been saying. And I'm just like,
okay,
come on now. Like, you're just like the overcompensation, the overcoping of what could have possibly happened. And so I did a little bit of trolling tonight, of course. But I mean, I don't think they showed up. I don't know if they did or not. That's what I'm asking everybody out there. And
they didn't.
Yeah. See, there you go. And
you're spitting Tony and the fans trying to hype up Collision over the Royal Rumble because of pettiness. I'm with you on that.
Yeah. And I will definitely swallow the returns tonight. I don't want to get too much into the Royal Rumble. I'll swallow the returns tonight. I think some of the returns were
we'll really save that and we'll talk about that when we get into our Smash and Pass segment.
Yep.
You know what? Let's focus. I'm going to focus on NXT and Dynamite mostly. And then, so I'm going to swallow the Deonna Purrazzo, Tony Storm sit down with Renee on the stage. They did the whole black and white split screen where Deonna was in color and Tony was in black and white, which I thought was a really cool live TV effect. Tony says that there's so much more about Deanna to shame than just her body, which was a wild line. Deanna says, I don't want this version of Tony. I want the old Tony, the one that I came up with, the one that I trained with. She lifts her dress up and show her pant leg up and shows the tattoo, and they show the matching tattoos that they have. They both throw their shoes at each other. Deanna grabs Tony's arm. Mariah saves her. Luther gets kicked in the jaw for just being there, which fair. That whole, literally, honestly, that is literally the only thing I wrote down from Dynamite that I swallowed was the Deanna Tony segment. So, because Tony's my favorite thing on Dynamite.
I know, and because it is the best thing. Also, fuck Bully Ray for being like, I need backstory on the tattoo. They fucking said everything. They were friends. They trained together. They wrestled together. They were. Tony was living on fucking Deanna's floor. What more do you fucking need?
And see, I'm one of those people where when it comes to AEW, generally, I'm like, I could use more. Like we talked about my feelings about House of Black and how I need more from House, right?
Yes.
Generally on that side. I don't need a 15-minute promo vignette of Deanna telling the story of them getting the tattoos together and what it meant, and like cuts of somebody doing
that
like,
in there.
Yeah, no.
Deanna explained it. Bully Ray's dumb.
I agree.
The biggest heel outside of any major wrestling promotion cuts a X promo. I mean, Bully Ray, and it's no secret, Bully Ray also put out a tweet, or Bubba, or what do you want to call him, a week ago about how, they've been dominant. And then you guys know about the whole beef he got in with Max Caster, right? About tag teaming, right?
I saw stuff about Max Caster saying shit about Bully Ray coming into his locker room and shit like that.
Yeah,
because fuck Bully Ray. I'm Team Max Caster.
And then of course Bully Ray with the I don't know if he ended it or I don't want to say ethered because I'm not cool enough, but like he ended it with CM Punk was right. So he's also mentioned that maybe he and Devon have one final run, and the only promotion they haven't won tag belts in is AEW. So
no,
I mean,
right? No, I agree with you.
No.
No, I didn't tweet it. Don't yell at me.
Oh no,
yelling at me because I'm kind of on the side of like,
no.
They've held him everywhere else. Like, anyway.
I don't give a fuck. No.
Plus, also, like, I don't ever want to see this match, but it would be hilarious in 2024 to have Edge and Christian, the Hardy Boys, and the Dudley Boys all in the same promotion again. It really would. So,
no.
I can
because only two of them can actually wrestle. It's Edge and Christian.
Yeah, I know. Matt Hardy may or may not be getting
WWE universe, like the cloud forming over top of them, descending upon them with derision of, oh my gosh, Tony's actually booking TLC matches from 25 years ago. So, no, not a good idea.
That would be hilarious to me. I love to watch World Burn, so.
TC thrive enough negativity.
In just most of the time, TC likes to thrive off my negativity, so a lot of times I don't agree with what he wants because he wants to see me lose my shit. But when it's everyone else and it's shit that I don't care about, like if the Dudley Boys won tag team titles in AEW, yeah, okay. But I'm with Katie, Team Max Caster, Team Bang Bang Scissor Gang all day long. Katie, spit or swallow?
I'm gonna go NXT. I'm gonna swallow. Not only is Ava Raine the youngest general manager in history, shout out, we got a William Regal sighting. Finally, he was allowed on TV. He said, "Ava, if you need anything, hit me up. Let me know. As long as she brings him back around like Survivor Series time, there's a certain phrase he needs to shout into a microphone." I love that for Ava. Honestly, She's basically been the general manager. Now she just has the title. And women in power. Let's fucking go.
Also, the fact that The Rock took a seat at the TKO board and then all of a sudden his daughter got a promotion.
The next day, David
like,
the GM position.
Listen, as a child who's benefited from nepotism, I'm all for it, Ava. I get it. It's good. Do your thing.
Nepo babies.
You got any more spits or swallows, Steve? Anything off the top of your head from this week that you enjoyed or didn't? Just one more.
There was so I was just I know again was something that I want to tease, we'll get into just probably in a couple minutes anyway, but TNA like kind of emerging from the shadows of everything that's going on behind the scenes or whatever in AEW, in the complete implosion of Vince McMahon and cocaine spots at NWA. TNA is really stepping up, and I had written off TNA years ago. And then last March or whatever, I went to Against All Odds because it was here in Columbus, Ohio. And that was when I witnessed Alex Shelley win the belt for his first heavyweight championship ever. And it was freaking incredible. Like, it was amazing. The whole card was just the best. And my faith is restored in TNA. And to see like this new partnership coming on with Endeavor and other things that are happening with TNA right now, I feel like I'm definitely swallowing TNA right now. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, they did the name change. They dropped the new belts. There's some things we're going to talk about that happened tonight that may or may not. I'm assuming based on. We'll get into it, but
well, let me ask. Can I ask
in the partnership? Yeah.
Well, can I ask real quick? What do you guys think of the rebranding? Because I actually was a fan of Impact, the name, because it's more like compact. It kind of gives you an identity. TNA kind of sounds still a little cheesy to me, but what do you guys think?
I mean, for me, wrestling has always been 3 letters: WWE, WCW, ECW, AEW, TNA. Like, that's the wrestling that I come from. That's what.
Give him a second.
To have 3 letters to their name. So, yeah, wrestling companies have 3 letters to their name. That's what I grew up on. That's what I watched. So, seeing them go back to TNA, which back to their roots and the whole promo package they did to do it all, I was all for it. I'm down. That's kind of who they're known as. I feel like that change to Impact happened at a time where they were on obscure channels and only people who like really watched wrestling were even aware what Impact was. And if you came across it, people wouldn't know. But anyone who used to watch wrestling back in the early 2000s, who was aware of TNA and maybe getting back into wrestling or hears things, with the current boom that we have going on, is going to be like, oh, TNA's still around. Oh, I can go watch it.
Yeah.
Like there's a bonus there, in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I like TNA, the stuff that I've seen from when it was like originally TNA. I was into that shit. Like, and the Knockouts division being what it is and starting like good women's divisions and like the X division, I have no problem with them going back to it. They're basically just going back to their roots, but also revamping their roots. Like, they're going back to what made them them, but they're putting the new spin on it.
Yeah. So you did Ava and Regal, so I'll knock that off my notes. I'm spitting OTM disrespecting Miss Rizzo, coming into the family's restaurant, trashing the restaurant. I don't know who the lady was with them, but she put hands on, Rizzo.
Jada Parker.
Oh, that was Jada Parker?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, no. Spitting all of this assault on my fellow Italians from Chicago and the nice things that they do for us, the family, cannot have that. However, they did take out OTM, help Dragon League get the win. Oba accepted Dragon Lee's challenge on NXT after the match. Rizzo came off the top rope. I'm spitting black wrestlers attacking Italians in an Italian restaurant. Yes, absolutely, 100%. I would also spit white wrestlers doing that. I'd spit Hispanic wrestlers doing that. I'd spit myself doing that.
He would spit other Italians doing that.
I would. You don't go into an Italian family restaurant and disrespect the family. That's not what you do. That's how you get whacked.
Yeah, didn't anybody see Do the Right Thing? Come on now.
See, exactly.
Take your kneecaps off.
Katie, spit or swallow?
You know, I'm gonna swallow Santos finally going back to NXT's parking lot and picking up Elektra after leaving her there for a few years. You're gonna spit it. I know you are. I'm swallowing it because it gets Elektra more exposure because obviously she's still got some shit with Lola, so it's not gonna. It's fine. She was gonna get back there with them anyways. It just took him a while. He had to go through his nice little phase of pretending to be a nice guy, and then he's like, "LOL, JK, I'm a piece of shit. I'll come back and get La Madrida." You know.
I am swallowing the fact that Elektra Lopez isn't taking Lola Vice's shit on NXT after what happened. That she went out on the Supernova sessions. There's a lot of this whole like in NXT for some reason. Oh, you're only famous for shaking your ass on Instagram, and that kind of is losing me a little bit because I hear it. I feel way too often against different people. Yeah. So, but going out there handling business, but then. I was talking with somebody on Twitter. Am I supposed to root for Elektra as a baby face in NXT or boo her as a heel on SmackDown?
The answer is yes.
What tweener, daddy. Tweener.
Yeah, because I don't know what she's doing. Like, yeah, you're going after Lola. Cool. I'm on your side. Babyface Elektra. Nope. I'm just gonna pretend like Santos didn't abandon me. Which I know you can relate to. And gonna go back and pretend like nothing happened, and I'm gonna attack Zelina, and I'm gonna join Paquete de Lobos, and we're gonna hang out.
It's called Stockholm syndrome, basically.
No, spit that.
It's fine. Just let it happen.
I'm gonna spit the demise of Chase U. It just struck me as really sad, and I know that it's time has kind of come, and they did it was a really sweet job they did with it. I was not a fan of Thea Hale morphing into Toxic Attraction .2, but it was working, man. It was working. It was fun. I really honestly thought they were going to try to do something with them versus Team Gulak or whatever, and that never really came to fruition. Definitely spitting that. That just kind of broke my heart there. And Thea Hale's one of my favorites on NXT right now, but it just kind of soured me because she's not the weird kind of super into it. You know what I mean?
Well, Steve, hi, Dad Hat. I'm glad you're in the car with Will and Alan Tommy checking us out, watching us. We did enjoy the Rumble. We're getting to it very soon. We didn't get an answer as to what JC Jane had gotten all those women together for, did we?
No,
I don't think so.
We have a week. We're gonna find out on Tuesday.
Before you say demise of Chase U, let's hold out for that calendar that they went and shot and sold and all the money they made to save Chase U. It might not be over yet because Katie and I have a theory that JC Jane got together all the girls of Chase U, did a calendar photo shoot, sold the calendars, raised a shit ton of money, and JC's gonna save Chase U.
Yeah, because Andre
Chase
said they had a week. Like next week, he has to say goodbye to everything, and he's gonna be in the ring. He's gonna be doing this passionate promo saying how much he loved Chase U, and JC Jane's gonna be like, bitch, and throw a bunch of money at him. And be like, Chase U saved.
Unless, of course, Andre Chase then takes that money, gambles it away, and loses Chase U anyway. He's a degenerate gambler, and
listen. Well, it's okay. She'll make enough so we're like he can still save Chase U, and then there'll be some left over, and he can gamble with that.
Fair.
Yeah.
We did that. Oh. You know what? Let me look here. Anything really on Raw that I need to swallow? What was that? I'm sorry.
Oh, Chad Gable and Ivar.
Well, that you can swallow that. I'm gonna make this. I got two more, so we'll do two more rounds and then we'll get into the Royal Rumble. The bingo tumbler for the Royal Rumble was back on SmackDown, and I am crediting what I am dubbing the greatest GM in recent SmackDown history, since that's the thing we do now, is we just say recent history. So that way it can just be a thing and we can not discredit anyone from the past. Like longest reigning champion in recent history, that sort of thing. Greatest SmackDown GM in recent history, Nick Aldis, who not only has been doing his best to instill a brand split, despite the fact that Adam Pearce doesn't give a fuck about that. He brought back the SmackDown Tumbler. He brought Ava Raine up to let her learn from somebody who actually knows what the fuck they're doing. The Royal Rumble Tumbler has been one of my favorite things throughout the years for the moments and everything, including R-Truth coming in and doing the Royal Rumble Tumbler thing, watching the disappointment on Bayley's face for the number that she got, the interaction between Legado and the Almighty Prophets, because I'm not calling them the Pride.
Yeah.
The Almighty Prophets, and just everything we get from the Tumbler. The fact that it wasn't on Raw was a little disappointing, but like Adam Pearce sucks as a GM, so I get it. It is what it is.
They also didn't make it like a huge spectacle. They only like went through it a few times. It wasn't like it used to be.
But it was still here, and it's a start, Katie.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's why we didn't get it on Raw. Like it was just a little like, hey, remember this thing? So it's next year. It'll be a whole thing, both shows, maybe all three shows. Fuck around a little bit with NXT. Everyone gets a Royal Rumble tumbler.
I'm with you, Katie. Spit or swallow.
I'm gonna swallow the War Dogs. Gable and Ivar was fun, but like Braun Breaker is so fucking funny. I'll get to Braun later. I'll bark later for Braun, but it's fun. He's funny to me, but like it's crazy to see the fun shit he's doing in NXT, and then what happened tonight. Like I love it because he's still in NXT for what? For what reason? Put his ass up on the main roster. Tonight showed that.
He's still in NXT because he does a fucking spear like everyone else in the main roster, and he hasn't figured out his fucking finisher yet. That's why.
He has other moves he does, just the spears.
I'm not letting that go. I need him to stop spearing.
Fast he goes?
Oh, you 23 miles per hour, which I call bullshit on.
Listen, I ain't saying that number, but like just looking at him.
If he was that fast, he'd still be fullback for the Ravens. He's not that. I mean, I'm not hating on him, but
he is fast. I will say he is fast. However,
fast as fuck, boy.
I knew that was coming. But they're like they clocked him in at 23 miles per hour. I'm like bullshit.
Honestly, it's plausible. Man, fast as fuck.
You got another one, Steve, or
I was going to I was gonna swallow like the rest of the Viking experience and the whole, I don't know, like I've always liked Sarah Logan, now Valhalla. I don't know, just I don't know what they're trying to do. They're just trying to like be nice, I guess, and keep them kind of employed. But for a guy like supposed to be kind of a badass ass. I mean, he's just kind of fallen into mid-card status, and especially going with the, I mean, the it's been fun, it's been entertaining against, team Alpha and all that, but it's just, I don't know, just something's not hitting the way it should be on that show for them. And again, I know they're just kind of 9:15, 9:30 filler to hype people up before, CM Punk confronts Cody Rhodes, all that, but it's not hitting for me. So I'm definitely gonna spit that, but I'm gonna swallow going to SmackDown. And I didn't catch last week, but the week before, old school WWE superstar promos. Thank God. I shouldn't say that. I don't like when people lose their job per se, but Kevin Dunn, I'm not really crying in my pillow over it. Kevin Dunn with his goofy backstage invisible camera that they still do a little bit, but the old school WWE superstars style promos that I grew up on, and I'm sure you all grew up on, of Logan Paul going, talking about, Logan Paul just doing straight, like, no, he didn't even take a breath. He did everything straight up for like a whole 3-minute promo on like Kevin Owens being trash, and then juxtaposing it with Kevin Owens talking about being a fighter and with my broken hand and all that stuff. So let's have more of those backstage WWE superstar from the 80s, 90s promos. That's what gets me into wrestling, man. That's what wrestling is. So yeah.
You almost gave me a heart attack there, Steve, because when you started saying promos from old school WWE superstars, I thought you were about to come on my show and swallow Hulk Hogan. And we do not swallow Hulk Hogan around here.
No.
It's one of those things, kind of like what we talked about at the beginning of the show, where, in my personal opinion, no matter what you've accomplished in an industry, it doesn't overshadow the things you do in your personal life. And I thought, because Hogan was out there talking shit about maybe I got one more in me, and the only squared circle I need him to step in is the 9th circle of hell. That is the last squared circle I need that man to step in. That's the last place I want to see him. So I'm glad that wasn't where you were going. I'm with you on the superstar promos. 100%. Valhalla, listen, the Viking Raiders haven't been the Viking Raiders since they showed up to the main roster. I loved Eric and Ivar as the War Raiders down in NXT. We have not seen or gotten that. I think we kind of lost them once Ivar was making turkey legs floating through telekinesis and shit. That was kind of the end of what we loved about the War Raiders. So, as TC calls Valhalla the Queen of Musty because she doesn't wear shoes, and bare feet wrestlers bother me. Bare feet wrestlers do bother me.
She's a good old girl from Kentucky. Like, she's not gonna wear shoes. Like, that's not how that goes. But yeah. What's that?
I need her to wear shoes. I just need her to wear shoes.
I need everyone to wear shoes.
There was Vinny Rue doesn't want her to shave at all. So, you got both sides of it with her.
There is that. Yes. Because I have agendas to push, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm continuing this. While I am happy for the Kabuki Warriors, I'm spitting the Kabuki Warriors winning the tag team titles because I need the Unholy Union, Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, as our champions. We did the story about how they cursed those belts, and then we never followed up on it, and I am not okay with that. The only people holding those titles to break the curse should have been the witches who cursed the titles in the first place. I get where we're going. I see why we did this. I understand that maybe in their mind, the Bailey story is slightly more important than my agenda to have Isla and Alba hold those tag team titles. But this is my show and it's my agenda. Our agenda. That is correct, Katie. Our agenda. And it's our show. So that's what's more important around here.
Yeah, because it's also just some bullshit. Like, from when Kaden and Katana, who rightfully so, one of the best tag teams that the division has, beat the Unholy Union, my witches, in such quick fashion was kind of bullshit, just to set up for the Kabuki Warriors, which, again, but like, we get it. Everyone in Damage Control has gold. Dakota's not allowed to wrestle because she's still injured. But, you know, I see what they're doing. But whatever.
Well, they
Katie's
were
gonna
on
swallow.
borrowed
Oh,
time
sorry.
with. No, they're fine. They were on borrowed time with Chelsea Green, and understandably so. I mean, they just wanted to basically give her a belt, you know, because she's been injured a lot, and honestly, she did deserve it. So it wasn't like it wasn't deserved, but yeah, that I love the idea of the story continuity of the belts being cursed, and the fact that they want, or they're using the women's tag belts to be a hot tag says a couple of things. A hot belt says a couple of things to me. One is they should have never differentiated and kept the NXT Women's Tag Championship alive. And B, just like Ari Emanuel kind of hinted a couple of weeks ago or whatever, he would actually like to see more belts in the WWE. And I've always been a proponent of, if you're going to have a legit women's division, you should have the mirror belt for every belt you have. If you have a U.S. championship, you should have a women's U.S. championship. If you have an intercontinental belt, you should have a women's intercontinental belt. And if you're going to have two sets of tag team belts for both brands that are probably not going to exist anymore, they're probably going to eventually merge them back again because they never know what to do because WWE hates tag teams, then you should have legit tag team belts for women's SmackDown and women's Raw as well.
Well, I mean, the old guard hated tag teams. I've had a lot of hope that since that's kind of changed, we would split those tag team belts back up and get them off the Judgment Day, and we'd have a set on Raw and a set on SmackDown. And for whatever reason, it's the one set of belts they haven't done anything with. So that's kind of fucking annoying. We just haven't either merged them and made one set of tag titles or gotten rid of the split them up and sent one to SmackDown and one to Raw. So, but I'm with you. I would love to see more women's tag belts. When you say more belts in WWE, people get kind of, there's already so many, but if it's for the women's division and not just like more belts for more belts' sake to make this fair, I'm 100% with you on that.
Can I go off for that on a second?
Yeah,
I'm sorry if I'm derailing the show. First time on.
I'm just glad
that
Katie
drives
moved
me crazy when people say, "What's that?"
I'm just glad I saw Katie move because I thought she was frozen there for a second and we lost her. She was very still.
When people say that there's too many belts in name the belts in the WWE right now. You got the Universal, which they played around, it broke apart and merged back together. It fired the Forge of Moria and all that. You know, the big gold belt they bring back whenever it's convenient for them. Okay, you got the two belts that they're treating as one now because they don't trust the other tag teams in the big league. You got the IC, you got the US. You just retired the 24/7 365 I-95 Euro Intercontinental Championship. And I don't know why. You could have turned that into the streaming belt. That would have been brilliant. But no, we don't do that. You've got all the NXT belts. Wow, too many. How many people are on this roster? There's not enough belts. You know, you got to try to keep people happy. And if you're talking about being, you know, synergistic, which I heard a rumor that they're going to start, that there's something going on in California next week or in a couple weeks, that UFC and WWE are going to do a live event or something. But that's wild. But if you're going to mirror and synergize with other companies that you're underneath the umbrella of, the UFC has 7 divisions. Like the UFC has weight divisions for every club, just like in boxing, and no UFC fans aren't sick of all the, like, they're not saying, oh, the UFC has too many belts. UFC fans complain about the interim stuff a lot, but they don't complain about the weight divisions. Same thing with the women's division. The women's division has 3 or 4 belts in UFC. No one's complaining about the UFC not having enough belts, but the WWE, for some reason, there's like 100 wrestlers on the roster, about 1/3 of them they seriously do something with, and there's too many belts. Impossible.
Well,
impossible.
And see, that's very important because I've kind of advocated, now that they're bringing the rankings back in AEW, that they need to have rankings for each division. TNT, All Atlantic, blah, blah, blah. And I think that's where kind of there aren't weight divisions in WWE, so anyone can really go and hold any title. And I think maybe that's where, and as Will said, WWE is a predetermined sport that can decide if they have the belts versus them competing in a weight class for it. But if they used weight classes in that system, as Will said, if they had weight classes, then yeah, I could justify that. But if it's just a bunch of belts that anyone can take at any time, I think that's where the difference is and where people get kind of, you know, if you're going to do it, you have to have it make sense. So yeah, if you had like a cruiserweight division and a cruiserweight belt, reasons like that, absolutely. But you'd have to do divisions, a light heavyweight, a welterweight, stuff like that. Triple H used weight classes and it was a shit show. Well, you have to learn how to do it right too. You have to find a way to make it
pre or post Conan? Was Conan involved?
I got my last one, and then I'll let Katie do hers because I know she wanted to say something about Chad Gable, and then we'll run the ads, and then we'll get into the Royal Rumble. Just because I have to do this, I'm swallowing the fact that Karrion Kross has so much faith in his relationship that he allowed Scarlett to go face to face with Bobby Lashley, because we know what happened when Rusev did that and how that ended for Rusev, which another marriage that may or may not be over. I'm not sure. She posted something on Instagram where she was talking about how she's running the Jericho cruise and also said, "What would you say if I told you I was single?" So, yeah.
CJ Perry, what the fuck?
I saw on Instagram, like, out of nowhere.
Oh, whatever. I can't.
I listen, I love CJ Perry, so.
Well, I love CJ Perry, but, like, bitch, relax.
But anyway, we saw what happened with Lana and Bobby. The last man in the WWE I'm letting my wife go one-on-one in the ring with is Bobby Lashley. And Karrion said, fuck it, I got faith in this relationship. Go in there and get him. So props to Karrion for that. Plus, I really, outside of the logo on the shirt, I do like the Final Testament as a group and what they're doing. So
yeah, the logo sucks.
It's too plain. It's plain as fuck.
It's dumb.
Katie, would you like to talk about Chad now?
Yeah, because Chad Gable is a fucking star. Give this man everything, all the things. I know we're not at the Rumble. Why the fuck was Chad Gable not in the Royal Rumble? Trips, we're gonna have some words. Paul, I got some words for you later. But no, Chad Gable, Ivar, hell of a match. I do like the fact that since Eric did get hurt and is still going to be on the shelf for quite some time, that Ivar has kind of morphed into a single star and helped promote big meaty men slapping meat, and Biggie wants a big meaty man invitational eventually, just like all the meaty men.
Big meaty men could be a weight class, and you could have a big meaty man belt. I could compete for the big meaty man belt. I'm just saying.
I but I respect Chad Gable with all my heart and soul. So
listen, as I said on Twitter, I would like to now, when talked about personally, when people are describing me, I would like to be referred to as a whole lot of meat.
I can't stand you.
I'm just saying.
I
will not be calling you that.
So I forgot that the Peacock isn't running on the background, so the WWE is just rolling through. And while you said big meaty men, they just showed a picture of Derek Lewis doing the DX chop after his win a couple years ago. So There's another big meaty man that could be part of these.
I guess doing the DX chop could be considered slapping meat. I guess you could call that slapping meat.
Yep,
you could. You could. I'm sorry. Okay. Fair enough. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Now
stop it because his balls do get hot. So
I'm the other white meat.
You're run the ad.
Ladies and gentlemen, now is the part of the show where I'd like to ask you to go to patreon.com/creationworld, where you guys get 3 shows for $1. You get Return to Wrestling, where Travis and I break down old school WCW. Latest episode was Great American Bash in 1998. For that same dollar, that $1, you get the entire back catalog of that show. Also, the entire catalog, including the newest episode, not nudist episode. It could be a nudist episode. You're going to have to go to Patreon and check it out. Of
With your big white
Multiverse
meat.
with Travis and Mara. Right there. Multiverse with Travis and Mara, where they talk DC animated films. And tomorrow we are recording the 3rd episode of If You Have to Ask. And Mara and Bridget will be on that show with us.
Nice.
So, 3 shows, $1. If you click that link, we have higher tiers. You support us, you get more, including this show ad-free. But if you're watching us live right now, we have sponsors, and Travis is here to tell you about those sponsors and what they can do for you. So please listen to this, pay attention, get some health insurance, take care of yourself. Travis will tell you more right now.
Happening, y'all. I know we're having a lot of fun right now, but I actually want to talk to you about something very important: your health. You see, life is full of twists and turns, and that's why having the right health insurance matters. I want to make sure you have the coverage you need without breaking the bank, and that starts with speaking to me for absolutely no charge. Having health insurance isn't just about doctor visits, though. It's about living a healthier, happier life. Physical health and mental well-being go hand in hand, and that's why the plans I represent cover not just the physical, but the mental aspects of your health as well. And here's the deal. I'm very good at what I do. So not only can I find you the perfect plan, but I might even be able to get you one for free. That's right, free advice and a free plan. Your health is too important to compromise. So let's chat, find the right plan, and ensure your well-being. Just visit health.creationworld.com today to schedule a free consultation. The link is right here in the description. That's health.creationworld.com. Your health, your future.
I'm also very good at what I do, unless it's turning off the ad and getting back to the show, because I was looking at something and completely got distracted and heard Travis stop talking. I was like, oh shit. But we are back and we are talking the Royal Rumble. It is now officially time for us to smash or pass the Royal Rumble. We spit and swallow the week in wrestling. Now we're smash or passing the Royal Rumble. So the way this works is I'll mention a match. I'll go around the room. I'll ask smash or pass. Everyone smashes. We'll talk about the stuff that we love. Thank you, TC. You are correct. Every now and then we do. And also thank you, Devin, for the sub. We appreciate it. You know I love you. Love Devin. Appreciate it. One's up. We kicked off the show with the Women's Royal Rumble. I have a feeling from the talk we had at the beginning that this is going to be unanimous, but Katie, Women's Rumble, smash or pass?
Smash. Why would it ever be a fucking pass? It is a smash for a multitude of reasons.
Steve, smash or pass?
Smash all the way, and not because of some of the talent in the ring. Total smash anyway, all around.
I'm smashing this like Chelsea Green got smashed in the match.
Oof.
Poor Chelsea.
Listen. Personally, I believe that this was the better of the 2 Rumbles tonight. For what I enjoy in a Royal Rumble, we had surprises, we had returns, we had debuts, we told stories. The right woman won, in my opinion, being Bayley, with a story going forward. Smash Jade and Bianca facing off. Smash Jade and Nia. Jade coming in and eliminating Nia. So for those of you who don't know, Naomi, Trinity Fatu, Naomi returned, and she returned with Naomi in her hair. So I'm assuming she returned to the WWE as Naomi, and she wasn't there as a TNA representative. And the reason I have to assume that is because also, as a TNA representative, who, as far as I know, has no ties to WWE previously, unlike Mickie James, who came in, knockout champion Jordan Grace.
Which I said on She Elite. I was like, oh, well, like, it's because Savannah and I were bullshitting about surprises. And I was like, oh, well, like, maybe Jordan Grace will show up. Not actually expecting her to fucking show up. I was shocked. Color me surprised.
Spitting all of it. Listen. You can call me out all you want, Will. I acknowledge that you were one of 5 people watching TNA. I think it's really cool that they dropped someone from TNA in the Royal Rumble that, again, unlike Mickie James, wasn't affiliated. JJ Bailey won. Bailey won the Rumble. So now 3 of the 4 horsewomen have officially won a Royal Rumble. TC and Will are the only TNA watchers. You know, that's not true. Our boys over at Powerbomb Jutsu are big TNA watchers. And I know you know them, Dom and Daryl. So
yeah,
they also watch TNA.
so
They're the only ones that really talk about TNA when they come on.
Hey,
Naomi
like
returned.
I said, I went to Against All Odds last year, and I gave up TNA completely. Really, the only wrestler I was paying attention to seriously in TNA at the time was no, don't stand corrected. I mean, you wouldn't never know.
No, he stands corrected about people that he knows that watch TNA. That's what he meant.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Like I was only following Josh Alexander, really, because that was the only and maybe Sammy Callahan with the whole Violence by Design thing. So I really wasn't like following, you know. But I mean, just they're really stepping up and they're really filling this void, and it's awesome. And you know, the parts are putting together. You can't tell me that 2-3 months ago, after this whole big thing, and Scott D'Amore has this huge, promo in the ring or whatever, that magically, of all places, TNA makes a deal with a distribution of their pay-per-views with Endeavor. And now all of the sudden, and by the way, Dixie Carter, who stooged off the return match for CM Punk or whatever by taking pictures with Bruce backstage. You can't tell me that now all of a sudden, magically, we're starting to see TNA as a presence in WWE. It's the second year in a row that the Knockouts champion was a participant in the Royal Rumble. The buzz was huge about it. He totally smashing because whoever played Triple H or whatever, like within the first 5 minutes, we got Triple H hyping up the show, Naomi returning, Jordan Grace showing up, Michael Cole mentioning that she was the TNA Knockouts champion. You know, all that transpired within the first 5 minutes of the show. Like, let's fucking go here. Like, what are we doing? Like, we're completely like, boom.
And I really thought we were going to get some TNA stuff in the men's Rumble, and we did not. So I was a little disappointed by that. I thought we were going to go a little farther. But not only did we get Naomi, not only did we get Jordan Grace, Roxanne Perez from NXT came up, did her thing. Second year in a row, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
She came up last year. R-Truth entered the women's Rumble, or at least attempted to, in place of.
I thought it was the man's.
Also,
in place of Valhalla.
I had a question about Truth. When he opened his number and he was like, do I have to quarantine? We all assumed it was like a 19 or like a 20. I don't understand how we got that in the 24. Because he was 24 in the men's and he came out in the 24th spot for Valhalla. It's like, I got questions for you, Truth. But like, I love you anyways. Okay.
Jade made her debut. Finally.
Yeah, she did.
Everyone, all the people that want to shit on WWE kept saying, oh, Jade got hired and they never put her on TV. They dropped the ball with Jade, this and that. She has been working out. She has been working on her in-ring, getting ready for this moment right here where she showed up. She eliminated Nia Jax, stood toe-to-toe with Bianca Belair, had a damn good showing. Like, Naomi came in and listen, I can't even say it. Everything against Natalya Neidhart. Naomi came in ready to fucking work. She had been working with that TNA women's division, and Natty could not keep up with Naomi, and it kind of was rough the beginning of that match. It was, and I put that all on Natalya, 100%. I love that she is a legacy. However, she is not the best Neidhart. Again, it goes Jenny, Jim, Natty. Facts.
TC posed a good question. How is Nia able to legally steal Truth's number and enter the men's Rumble, but Truth can't enter the women's Rumble?
That is a very good. I mean, Santina Marella.
We ain't gotta talk about that. No. Hold on. No. No.
It's because Adam Pearce is a bad GM, and Adam Pearce shut that shit down. That's why we talked about this. Adam Pearce came out. He's like, no, Truth. get out of here. Valhalla, get in there. And then his girl got eliminated anyway. So his participant from Raw that he made get in the ring got eliminated. And she was mad at Truth. She should have been mad at Adam.
Yeah. True. What else even happened?
Hashtag she doesn't count.
The damage control stuff was smart. Having Asuka come out and Bailey being like kind of surprised. Bailey was like, "Hold the fuck up! Like, I thought I had this. You have the tag titles. What the fuck is this?" But then Kyrie coming out not too long after, a little bit of damage control business being handled, and then Asuka and Kyrie didn't seem like too upset that they were eliminated and Bailey was stuck in there by herself.
Definitely didn't stick around to help.
Right.
Nah, shady shit.
She did ask about the plan. She did say to the camera, I thought we had the plan. What's the plan? So
yeah. I thought everyone kept saying that. I thought she said, I thought you guys had a plan. Like, because again, she seemed confused as to why Asuka was even out there in the first fucking place.
I think she was supposed to be the only entrant, and I think Damage Control was supposed to be there to keep her in the Rumble and help her win. And then they showed up, and she's like, what the fuck's going on? And this is all going to lead to
Bailey and Io at Mania.
At WrestleMania for the title. Tiffany Stratton showed up in the Rumble. Maxine Dupree tried to wrestle.
She did her best.
She tried really hard.
The moment was a little too big for her. Look, she's really gotten really good, and she's got a lot better, and I just she got eat up by the moment.
I don't know if it was intentional with the way she was like trying to do the moves and then they weren't working, or
could have been a combination of both. We'll never know.
Because it seemed like a comedy spot, so then I gave it that. Like I'm like, okay, it's a comedy spot. She was in there for a comedy spot. All right, cool. But also, it looked like she was
supposed to be like an
airplane
spin into a head scissors takeover, right?
It was supposed to be, but that's not what we got.
That's not what it was.
Yeah.
But like we got Liv coming back at number 30.
I was like,
oh man, who the fuck's gonna be number 30 again? Deep down, I wanted AJ Lee for reasons because my heart. And I was like, oh, maybe we got like a Trish or a Lita or some shit. I forgot Liv was like supposed to come back soon, so I was like, oh shit, it's Liv Morgan. So like I was kind of surprised. But like that last grouping of women and like the picture that's been like posted all over Twitter already after Bailey wins, it's like on the outside is Liv, Jade, Tiffany, and Bianca. That's a fucking group of women right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love it.
Listen, my wife loves Liv Morgan. When that music hit and Liv came out, she goes, "Oh, what's up, Smokey?" And I completely forgot about that. And then I remembered, and I'm like, well, listen, like, is it really that bad? Because, like, my wife smokes. I'm like, is it really that bad if you're injured and you're doing it? Like, if you're not back on the active roster yet, is it really that big a deal? I know you got in trouble for it, but, like, I feel like if you're injured, you're off, you're not actively wrestling, you should be all right. She's fine. I missed Liv. I didn't realize how much I missed Liv until I got her back in the ring, and she's doing Liv Morgan things, and I'm like, this feels good again. I miss this.
Everyone wants Rhea and Becky at Mania, and I've been saying from the jump, I want Liv to be the one to take the title off of Rhea. Liv was also the last person to pin Rhea Ripley, if everyone remembers.
I just want to know if she drove to the arena or not tonight. That's all I want to know.
Honestly, probably
if
not.
She did. As Will said, they don't test, so we'll see.
Shout out.
Men's Fatal 4-Way. Roman versus the Initials. LA, RKO, and AJ.
Initials. I need them to start a faction now.
Katie, smash your pass. Are you smashing the Initials?
I'm smashing the Initials.
Smashing the Initials.
That's amazing.
Steve, smash your pass. Fatal 4-Way.
Smash! I don't want to. Okay, so I don't want to fully say smash, but there wasn't really anything too wrong with it. It was just you're gonna get some of the purists out there gonna be like, why is the World Heavyweight Championship match in the middle of 2 Royal Rumble matches and blah blah?
Because the Rumbles have to start the show and end the show. That's just how that.
No, I understand. Goes. No. But there's a lot of people that say, well, the champ should be on last. The champ should be on last.
No.
It got. Let's put it this way: smash because it got better at the end, and the psychology in the middle of the match was excellent.
Okay.
So,
I also thought it was weird that they went on second. I at least thought they were going to do third. Logan first, and then that, and then the men's rumble. So that did throw me. I am there, but I mean, I'm kind of back and forth because I'm kind of with Pretty Kyle from the Apron Bump, who said that was a great 4-way. Because it was a fun 4-way. It was a fun 4-way. However, it's also the same old shit with Roman that we see all of the time. Solo came up and saved his ass. Roman goes in and he gets the win. And we did get whatever this version of AJ is, angry emo AJ, who's just mad at the world and wants to beat up everybody, especially
it's not
LA.
A phase, Mom.
It's a phase.
It's not a phase.
Randy dropping everybody with RKOs, almost getting that pin.
That beautiful RKO to Roman.
RKO out of the Superman punch. Yeah.
I said to my buddy texting that like that RKO onto Roman is going to like pop the shit out of the crowd, and sure enough, it did. I mean, it was big enough when he hit it on like AJ and LA Knight. The blunt force trauma that Knight hit early, I was like, oh shit, like fuck, like they actually, and then of course kicked out. But it's like the when they started putting the psychology of it, of everybody kind of sneaking in there, starting to sneak in their finishers and really set it up for, hey, this could possibly. I mean, that's kind of what you want in a fatal 4-way, right? If you know that the outcome is going to be, at least you want to make everybody look good and look strong. So I liked the middle of it is where I really grabbed my attention. Because you knew they were going to gang up on Roman Reigns in the beginning, right? That's what they did. It was basically 3-on-1 for the first 3 minutes of the match.
I kind of enjoyed having LA and Randy stacked on top of each other, and then Roman catching that phenomenal forearm. Because I'm like, they're really not going. They're not going to do this. But also, he just hit him clean with the phenomenal forearm. Could they do this? Could AJ stack everyone?
Also, poor Randy being on the fucking bottom. Like, sir, his back.
Yeah, right.
His back.
He broke his back carrying Matt Riddle for months.
Nah.
And you're gonna have
returned.
3 human beings on top of him? That's fucked up.
This is how you treat that poor man.
How about AJ stumbling backwards to break up the pin? That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Randy didn't eat the pin. Randall and Roman. I need 1-on-1. I need it.
We'll have to see if The Rock's going to get his match at Elimination Chamber, and we know we're coded. We have a promo sent to us from Botch Spots and Chair Shots, recorded after the fact, that I think legally we can play without getting in trouble.
If it doesn't include his music, we should relatively be fine.
Okay.
You said legally.
Confirm because sometimes, like, if you put up anything, so
it has to be like a certain amount of time too.
Hold on. So Travis told me anything WWE, just don't do it because it'll get us in trouble. Because for whatever reason, one of the I think it was Incarnate, they hit us with a strike for playing the Incarnate trailer on getting off. So he just cut that part out.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So we're
okay. So then maybe
very weird about shit. Yeah, maybe we won't.
Okay.
Maybe post show we'll play it. So if Travis has to cut it out, he just cuts it out of the post show, and then it won't.
He's gonna be so mad at you.
Stick around for the post show. We'll play it. But Botch Bots and Chair Shots, okay, he said they will attack us. So
okay, I don't even think we should do a post show then. Like,
okay,
no,
fine. But we do have a video that we will watch. The Black Nerdy News for Jake Cargill IG post. So okay, then we won't post it, but we do have a video that Will Gray sent us of a post-match promo from Cody Rhodes that maybe we'll just watch off stream so we can hear and see what Cody had to say. But back to the Royal Rumble itself. I told Katie about this. So KO Logan Paul. I am not a Logan.
Paul.
Listen,
Logan
it happened.
Paul.
Yeah, it happened. We don't need to talk about it, Katie.
Logan Paul.
I'm not the biggest Logan Paul fan. So I decided at this point to shave my head, trim my beard up, and go take a shower. I watched Logan Paul versus AJ in the shower because much like Baron Corbin, KO. Much like Baron Corbin, I like to think of men in the shower as well as I do my thing. So I watched the match, but I was shaving and getting ready for the podcast and all that because it was the one that I cared about the least. Katie, KO Logan Paul, smash or pass?
I'm passing because I fucking hate Logan Paul.
I'm not going to deny that he can go in the ring. I just don't
like him, and he sucks on the mic, and he's a shitty human being.
I agree.
Okay, shitty human being got me. Yeah. Well, I'm smashing it. I'm a huge KO fan, by the way. Like one of my favorite wrestlers.
I am too.
And he's always been one of my favorite wrestlers. So, even in his ROH days and whatnot. So, I hate to say it, but I'm gonna be that guy. Logan Paul, in the short span of time that he has been a professional, like for real, dedicating time to it, he's more talented than probably 2/3 of pro wrestlers that are out there right now. And the way he just handles himself in the ring, and even because I wanted to see something tonight. You know, he's been put with the high flyers. He's been put with the high profile guys. Like his two biggest matches so far in the WWE, other than making appearances and being with the Miz or whatever, have been Roman Reigns, who you knew, which was a phenomenal match and gave us that great meme flying through the air. And then, his feuds with Ricochet were on point. So he's been, with athletic guys, and he's done the high spots and all that stuff. But I wanted to see him with an all-out brawler. Like I wanted to see him with somebody like Kevin Owens, who is great technically in the ring, who's just a fighter, he can like be unpredictable and brawl outside the ring, brawl in the stands or whatever. And look, because that's the mark of how good you are as a wrestler, right? Like you could do all the stuff in the ring and you could do whatever, but if you can't improvise and you lose it, if you lose the plot, so to speak, in the match, then your flaws are obviously multiplied. Well, I saw Kevin Owens taking Logan Paul around and doing what he had to do as a brawler, and Logan hung with it. Unwrapping Kevin's hand, brilliant move, throwing Kevin's hand up against the ring post, up against the mat and stuff. Classic wrestling moves that we all anticipate always happening. I thought it was, a pretty great match. I could probably agree with you that I don't really care for like the hoo-ha at the end, but hey, the match, the end itself, I thought was pretty creative too, considering most of the time we've been getting, just win or loss and win or loss, right? So I had to smash it.
Listen, again, I'm on the side of, I don't like him as a person. I won't disagree with the talent that he has in the ring. I'm not surprised. Him and his brother have basically built an entire reputation around the fact that they pretend to fight and pretend that they're really good fighters. So WWE should be natural for him. I think his promos recently have been kind of weak. I think he's been failing a little bit there. I agree with Katie on that. However, I did really enjoy after the fuck finish with KO getting disqualified, KO beating the shit out of him, putting him through the table. That I enjoy. That was fun for me.
Yeah.
But again, see, that's the thing. I think we just don't like Logan, so it's hard for us to get behind a lot of what he does. Because I love KO. I'm with you. I fucking love KO. I really do.
Yeah.
So it's
and I could do without. I get the Grayson Waller Austin Theory run in. I could do without it though, but at least it was the vehicle to get KO the brass knucks. So
how many
okay, I'll go with it.
annoying white people can we stick together? Like Austin Theory, Grayson Waller, now Logan Paul. They're going to be together. Annoying frat boy faction. Like I don't want to see that.
That's definitely the name.
The influencers. There you go. You're welcome.
I was all about his in-ring work at first. Now a year later, his mic work is exposed, and he just does the same stuff every match. Which, I mean, that's a WWE thing. I mean, John Cena built a 10-year career around doing the same thing every match and blew up. Hulk Hogan did the same thing every match, and even though I hate him and I don't think he's a great wrestler, it skyrocketed professional wrestling in the 80s to heights, blah, 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 whatever. So doing the same thing is kind of the WWE style. I think that's why a lot of people left and went to AEW, was so that they could not do that and they could do different shit. Because you get your Baron Corbins and your like Dean Ambrose, John Moxley. He had his set moves and he would do them, and he'd do them in a certain order, and you'd see it and you knew what was coming. You know, that it's just kind of what WWE does. It's their style. So I can't knock them for that.
Logan Paul's an insufferable douche on his podcast. He's an insufferable douche in the WWE ring.
He's just a piece of shit of a human being, like I said.
He's being himself. And yeah, I can't. Yeah. Men's Royal Rumble. Katie, smash or pass?
Oh, I'm smashing because somebody's finishing their fucking story at WrestleMania in my presence.
Whoa!
Cody Rhodes, you're going to finish that goddamn story, sir. And I'm going to be sobbing when you finally fucking do.
Our friends over at Young King Wrestling have said that this is a boring route to go. I saw a lot of people saying Cody, he came in at 30 and he won too easy last year, so he's got to start at 1. I didn't want to see that. I'm glad they brought him in at 15. Like I said, I yelled at Vince last week because for me, for this to make sense, for Cody to challenge the champion on SmackDown, he needed to win the Rumble. You can't take guys from Raw and throw them in an Elimination Chamber match to compete for a SmackDown championship. It doesn't make sense. Even though there's not really a brand split, it still just doesn't make sense to me. Sorry. Go ahead, Katie.
I'll hurt you.
No, also, Devin.
No. Devin, I'm not trying
Your boy is done at WrestleMania. Listen, it's over. I love you. You put your ones up. Your boy is done. Done at Mania.
I swear to God, if Roman Reigns walks out of WrestleMania with that title, somebody in the arena is catching hands. I don't know who yet, but somebody will.
Punch the person next to her.
Whoever's next to me is getting sucker punched.
I put up with that. Oh, I hope it's not me because I got tickets too. I put up with that bullshit last year, and I'm not fucking paying $3,000 for a hotel room in my 2-day tickets for that bullshit to happen again. That will be the last penny I ever spend on WWE. I promise you. If that shit happens again,
listen. You may or may not get a Smackin' It Raw WrestleMania weekend. It depends on if Vince and Travis want to do it, because Katie will be at WrestleMania. I will be in Tennessee with Will, and I don't think I can convince my wife to let me do my show from Will's house while she's watching my daughter.
No,
on our vacation. So
the answer is no.
You will hear me on Twitter and you will see me on TikTok if Cody Rhodes fucking loses at WrestleMania, and it's not going to be a pretty sight.
No.
Oh, y'all already know how that vlog is going to go if Cody.
This man right here has only cried from one WrestleMania. This might make 2, and this would be tears of anger and frustration. Devin's all in on the Tribal Chief. That's his forever champion. But we kicked off the Men's Royal Rumble with Jimmy and Jay. Katie, you smashed, right? Steve, you smashed?
Yep.
I'm smashing as well. Cody won. That's what I wanted. That's what I yelled at Vince about. I said it needed to happen. Jimmy and Jay, first time face-to-face since Jimmy screwed Jay out of beating Roman Reigns for that belt. If Cody loses,
I'll fight Sean.
Fight full.
Ha! God damn it.
I understood that reference.
I hate how good that was. I hate you.
Andrade El Idolo returns. The only like real, like not even surprised because everyone talked about it and said it was probably gonna happen, but like the only real kind of surprise you get coming back to a huge pop, surprisingly. I was not expecting Andrade to get the reaction that he got.
Why is he so big?
Everybody's coming back big as fuck, Katie.
He stood in that ring, and I was like a little caught back because I was like, you didn't look like that a month ago in AEW. The fuck?
Listen, you think that Charlotte got that far in her rehab by not doing leg presses outside of the Instagram videos?
Listen.
What do you think she's pressing with those legs? Andrade.
just like lifting her. It's he's huge. He's like Larry the Lobster.
Also, Santos Escobar.
I'm just saying they're doing a lot with stem cell research in other countries. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Well, I mean, AJ came back big as fuck. Randy came back big as fuck. It's 2020. Well, I guess that was 2023 technically, but we'll say 2024 is a year of coming back big as fuck. Also,
Jack looking like a snake.
Santos just walked up to Andrade like, "Hey, what's up, Picato de Lobo?
¿Qué pasa?
LWO?" And Andrade was not about Paquete de Lobos, like was not having the Wolfpack LWO deal, was not about it. So
he said, "Yo, fuck you guys."
Yeah. Other surprises, Carmelo Hayes, which not really surprised because he's been all over NXT and SmackDown, but I know that made Katie happy. Also, real good showing for Carmelo. I'll let you guys talk about it. Braun Breaker.
That's what I needed. I post the same GIF every time Braun Breaker wrestles. And shout out to Jayland for always liking it, retweeting it. Braun eliminated not only Finn Balor, I'm pretty sure he eliminated Jimmy, one of the Usos, I think.
Jimmy.
He eliminated an Uso. He was eliminating people left, fuck, right, and center. He eliminated Omos, I think. I don't know. The whole round was a blur.
I think the WWE should eliminate him.
What?
But not
whoa! He's not an Homo sapien.
Ha.
That man's huge. Pat McAfee said, "Fuck this, I'm out."
Is that a human being?
So here's the thing, right? So the numbers that I got in our Royal Rumble pool were 11 in the Women's Rumble, which happened to be Kairi Sane, which I unenthusiastically knew was not going to happen. And then 22, which happened to be Pat McAfee. And Pat McAfee, as I put in the chat and I put on Twitter, Drew carried himself out of the Royal Rumble. Because if you remember, Drew Carey saw Kane, said, "Fuck this," threw money at him, and eliminated himself. Yeah. Pat teased us at first, came back in and said, "Nope, no, you know what? I'm going to get out." And then we had to listen to Michael Cole brag about how he's still the longest lasting commentator in a Royal Rumble because Pat only lasted 38 seconds.
Shut up, Cole.
The whole thing was so funny. I wasn't expecting Pat to like be in the Rumble. But like, I'm not necessarily mad about it because it gave me some chuckles while everyone was kind of. It gave us a break from Braun spearing everybody in half and throwing people around and and like Omos being a gigantic human being. It was fun. There was nothing wrong with it.
Pat McAfee filled in for another wrestler that was supposed to be there apparently, but
which is fine. I mean, with everything going on and them deciding not to bring that wrestler in because of the stuff we talked about at the beginning of the show. Right. I love Pat. Pat's a fine fill-in. And if because of that we don't get that WrestleMania match between him and Walter, that it is what it is.
Big
Devin
Joe's gonna have a
mentioned it.
hell of a match, anyways.
Yeah. Devin mentioned it in the chat. R-Truth, again, coming out at 24 in the right Rumble this time, getting on, reaching in for the hot tag, getting the hot tag from Dominic Mysterio, being the reason that JD gets eliminated. Everything fucking R-Truth at the Royal Rumble. We love us some R-Truth around here.
Oh, yeah.
No, Devin, he didn't grab the tag rope, so I don't know. I don't think that was a legit tag.
It also wasn't a fucking tag match.
It wasn't a legit tag match, so you know
there's a lot of rules not
yeah
played to. I will say a little disappointed. I got no Kofi Kingston spot from the men or the women. Spot. I didn't get a Kofi Kingston type spot from any Rumble.
We almost got one from Kyrie, but she couldn't hold on. I don't know if that was intentional or not.
That was insane, by the way.
That was crazy.
Painful looking, which immediately Xavier Woods put up her on the train from Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Trying to, love it. No, but I was a little disappointed because I had Kofi.
I know you did. Honestly, when Kofi's music hit, I thought we might get that Big E, and
I wanted Big E so bad.
We didn't. Instead, we got Ricochet, who I forgot worked for WWE.
Well, yeah, because he was concussed.
Until his music hit, and I was like, oh yeah, he's around. Cool, let's put him in there. And then number 30 was Sami Zayn.
Yeah, I was like counting down. I was like, okay, well, the people who are left, that leaves like 2 spots, and then it was like Ricochet, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, well, who could number 30 be? Sheamus, Big E, perhaps. And I was like, oh fuck, I forgot Sami Zayn had time off.
Yeah. No Kofi spot was for the best this year, Jesus said.
He needed redemption from last time.
Dude, the New Day has been injury prone as fuck. Maybe he's right. Maybe
we don't. And maybe it didn't even have to be Kofi. Could have been anybody. Like I usually
could have been Katana.
Katana, Naomi.
Yeah.
Like I could have gotten one from the women. I got one from Kalani at the Battle Royal 2 weeks ago.
We got down to about 8 people, and I called what the final 4 was going to be. I said the final 4 was going to be Walter, Gunther, Cody Rhodes, and CM Punk, and it was. And then we got down to 6, and I looked at Kate, and I'm like, all right, Damian Priest, and who else was in there? Was it Sammy was still in there? Damian Priest and Sammy. I'm like, they got to go.
Yeah, and Drew.
Yeah.
Or yeah, Drew, Gunther, Cody, and Punk were the final 4. So final 6, Priest and Sammy were still in there, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, they got to go so we can get that final 4. I called that final 4. We got down to the final 2. Which, I mean, based on the promo that we got on Monday, I couldn't have been happier. I looked at Kate and I'm like, it's weird because like I need Cody to win, so I don't want to root against hometown boy CM Punk. But also I'm looking at the American flag versus the Chicago flag, and I'm kind of having a hard time not rooting for that Chicago flag. we had CM Punk and Cody face off. Dusty asked Punk to look out for Cody. Punk said he's proud of Cody. At the Royal Rumble, he's going to have to break the promise that he kept to look out for Cody, because it's, every man for himself, and he's going to win. Cody said, I want to be my own man. It doesn't need Punk to look out for him anymore. Punk wants to know if they can still be friends Sunday morning after everything's said and done.
Which we know ain't going to fucking happen after that result. Phil?
Punk said he was more of the American dream than Cody was, and Cody said, I'm more CM Punk than you are, because Punk said my dad was blue collar like your dad's dad was, and Cody said, you cut that pipe bomb, but I lived it. You said the words and walked out. I have walked the walk and talked the talk. TC says Braun Breaker's apparently main roster official now, though they're not out of the Dusty Classic yet.
No.
So we'll see that in NXT.
Right.
They're in the finals at Vengeance Day.
Punk compares Cody's story to Punk's story with The Rock, which I thought was very apropos because Dwayne showed up again right before the Royal Rumble. I was like, dude, if they do it twice, oh my God. There was a lot of good shit in that promo that led to these two facing off. And while I will say Punk did look a little gassed, he still did all of his shit. He wasn't slipping and botching. He was getting up. He was handling business. The back and forth was fantastic. When Punk started talking shit, I knew it was over. I was like,
he said, I didn't wait 10 years to lose the Dusty Kid. You should have been talking shit.
Oh, you fucked up.
You shouldn't have been talking shit, Phil.
But I needed Cody to win, and Cody won.
Well, it was essentially two baby faces going at it at the end. So Punk did what you kind of supposed to do and turned heel in 2.3 seconds flat. And then that's when you knew that Cody Rhodes was going to win.
If I'm being genuinely honest, it came down to those final two, and there are many spots I was like, oh, fuck, Phil's going to win. Damn it. I'm going to have to hear people talk about this all the time. People. And Cody Rhodes pulled off the back-to-back. Hasn't been done in years. Many a year. And I audibly said, no fucking way, to myself, out loud, when Cody won.
Right.
And it was, I've never been happier.
We've talked about this many a time on the podcast. There was a point in AEW where Cody was there, and both Katie and I were not huge fans of Cody in AEW. Towards the end of his run, right as CM Punk was coming in, we both kind of turned around on Cody right there at the end of AEW, and then he came over to WWE, and he completely won us over.
Tore his titty.
Mm-hmm. We have been riding this Cody train from that point on.
You guys weren't impressed that he solved racism?
Yeah, see, that was about the point where we were like,
I was like, you had me in the first half.
Brandy was causing some issues in there too with the open mic night bitch shit, which I also found entertaining, but a little cringy.
Classic.
But we've been riding that Cody train, and I couldn't be more happy for Cody to be the first person since Stone Cold Steve Austin to go back-to-back in Royal Rumbles, to go on to WrestleMania. And sorry, Devin, but to end the reign of the Tribal Chief, to finish his story, to hold that belt up high and make my fucking birthday weekend, because my birthday is Friday before WrestleMania.
That's true. This is a true
ultimate
statement.
birthday gift is getting what I've been asking for a year now and watching Cody hold that belt up.
Something that should have happened.
And honestly, as much as I do love Cody, a lot of it is for the legacy of the Rhodes family. I would really like to see someone in that family win that major title in WWE. Dusty never did it. Dustin never did it. I'd like to see Cody do what his brother and father couldn't for the legacy of that family, and have someone in that family finally become WWE Universal at this point, but heavyweight champion in WWE. Hold the main title in WWE.
Homelander's going to be champion in 69 days.
Kang.
Yeah.
Kang the Conqueror. Do you care which belt it is?
No, it has to be Roman's.
I do.
It has to be.
I figured. Because there's something out there that they might switch it, that it might go Cody Seth, or if I've heard, I know this is crazy, I've heard they hot shot CM Punk to Seth's belt, and then Cody and CM Punk at WrestleMania, and then I don't know what the hell they would do with Seth then, unless he's that injured.
Well, I mean,
it doesn't seem like he's that injured, so it
is a pretty serious injury, and he's not probably going to be wrestling like a ton or at all until Mania.
Right.
I've seen Dusty hold a version of the belt that Seth currently holds. I've never seen a Rhodes family member hold the WWE Championship, because essentially that World Heavyweight title is the big gold, is the WCW. It's that lineage, right? They brought the WCW title over when they bought WCW. It went away. They brought it back as the World Heavyweight title. It was still that WCW championship renamed and rebranded as the WWE. It's still that lineage. Dusty is part of that lineage. I need him to do the thing he's never done, no one in that family's ever done, and win what is theoretically the lineage of the WWE championship.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that makes sense.
To me, it matters. I'll be happy to watch Cody be a champion, a heavyweight champion in WWE and hold the belt up regardless. I wouldn't hate seeing Cody versus CM Punk one-on-one for that title. I would. He's already said he's not interested in wrestling Seth, so unless that's the route they went, I wouldn't see a point in it. I could see them getting to that with the tension between them and the promos and everything, and CM Punk egging Cody on and forcing his hand essentially and stuff like that. But I personally think it needs to be Roman. I get the idea that the Rock match is the money match, and that's what people want to see outside of wrestling fans.
I don't even want to see Dwayne and Roman. I want to see Roman and Solo.
Fair.
That's what I want to see.
Who surprisingly was not in the Rumble tonight.
Well, no, it's because he had to
he's in the
defend Roman's honor.
Yeah.
I mean, you could defend Roman's honor and then come out.
Well, no, Paul Heyman said, Jimmy, you have to go into the Rumble. You have to prove yourself as the tribal chief. You have to win and then go after Seth's title.
True.
And what happened? He didn't win.
Speaking of Paul Heyman, because I didn't mention this and I meant to, and I put it on Twitter. That man has S-tier facials. All right. Nobody gives better facials than Paul Heyman. Hands down, period. Watching that man ringside freak out at everything that may or may not end Roman's streak. The phenomenal forearm, the RKO. Nobody gives better facials than Paul Heyman.
That soundbite right there. There you go, folks.
That's
Take that and run.
Right there. I think we can all agree the Royal Rumble is our favorite show we watched this week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Same. All right. Steve, thank you for joining us. Please tell everyone where they can find you and your show and the content that you produce.
Oh my God, what a blast it was to be here tonight. I'm just goose pimples now, just, talking about all this stuff. You can find me on Facebook or really on all my social medias at the Heel and Face Podcast. So that's where my main page, or that's where my main area I operate out of. I'm with a couple of different networks too. I'm with Heel Turn Wrestling, which we have a huge following on Facebook there. So if you go to Facebook and not only look up Heel and Face Podcast, but you can look up Heel Turn Wrestling at HT Wrestling 316. We do a lot of tongue-in-cheek kind of dark humor memes there too. And then I'm also hooking up with the guys at Snapmare Productions and To the Turnbuckle, and you can find me there at Snapmare Productions on Facebook too. I know it's operate a lot out of Facebook, but if you just feel, just go to Heel and Face Podcast on Facebook, and it's the logo with the angel wings and the devil wings. You got me, and then you could just go from there to the other places too. Heel and Face Podcast, and I'm also on Spotify as well. So you can check out.
He's on Spotify, and also, like he said, all social medias. You guys can follow him on Twitter. That's how him and I first communicated and how we hooked this up. I threw it out in the ether. I'm like, does anyone want to come collaborate? And you were one of the first people to reach out and be like, I want to be on your show. And I really do appreciate that. I love the fact that we have created something that other content creators want to come on and be a part of. So thank you for coming on and being a part of this with us. Katie, as if they don't know at this point, because as you said in your interview with Adam Bernard, that people more associate you with this show than they do yours. If they want to see what Katie can do without me, which is far better than what she does with me, where can they find that stuff?
Well, thank you. You can follow me on Twitter at KatieRasmus13, Linktree in my bio to see all things She Leads Showcase, twitch.tv/She Leads Showcase, and youtube.com/She Leads Showcase, typically Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern-ish. Sometimes it's like closer to 6:30. That's fine. Like Matt said, latest Inside the Mind of with Adam Bernard, who was at the Rumble, doing all the media stuff. Shout out to him for being there with all of the friends. Hell of a conversation. He's so fun to talk to. So if you want to check that out, you can. It's on YouTube, Spotify, everything. Patreon.com/Elite I was gonna try and do something this month. I ran out of time. But I do have ideas for story times that I will be sharing with Matt after the fact to get his opinions. So those will be coming out soon too. So stay tuned.
There we go. Because everyone's here, TC, if you're interested, I might be available tomorrow. I don't know when my mom and dad are bringing Zoe back because we dropped her off so that we could enjoy the Rumble and not be interrupted by putting her down and her waking up and coming out 20 million times and blah, blah, blah. We're like, hey, mom, dad, you want to like have a sleepover? So I drove Zoe up there and dropped her off. So some point tomorrow she'll come back, but depending on when she comes back, I might be free for Young Kings Wrestling. You guys should go check out Young Kings Wrestling. We love TC and Reek, our boys over Young Kings Wrestling. So go check them out at YK Wrestling on Instagram and X and everywhere that you guys can find podcasts. Get Yo Podcast, who is in the building. Our boy Vince is part of the Get Yo Podcast. He was on the episode that dropped this week, even though he didn't make it to our show. He made it to their show. But we love Justin. We love Vince. Benji, if he ever comes back, go check out Get Yo Podcast. Again, Twitter, everything at Get Yo Podcast. Go check out the Tribal Chief, Devin, so you can watch him cry when Roman Reigns finally loses at WrestleMania, but also all the he produces over there. He's on Twitch. He's on Twitter. He's on everything. You guys can check them out. Tim King, Floor Slapper Sports. Go check them out as well at Floor Slapper Sports. Who else? Botch Spots and Chair Shots. Our boys, Jaxbo and Will and the boss bitch herself, Allison. Everything that they do. And then Off the Top Media, who is associated with them over at Rivet City Radio. Go check out everything they do. Who else was here? Bridget was here. That's Creation World. Everything. It's Creation World. ITSCREATIA World. Yeah. Go check out all of our friends and all of the awesome content that they produce. Dad Hat Wrestling, who was riding with Will watching us. He does great stuff. World Championship Wreckage with Will. Go check that out as well. If you like what me and Travis do, you'll love what they do. And as for me, you guys can follow me on Twitter at Matt Ritter, MATTRIDDER, and at Getting Off, Matt Ritter, for your wrestling content, Getting Off for your horror movie content. You guys can follow me on all other social medias, whether it is TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky, or Threads at Smackin It Raw. I may have dropped a TikTok yesterday with a special filter promoting our show and what we do here and where you guys can find us. So go check that out on TikTok. Give that a like. I would appreciate it. For Miss Katie Kinzy Baby and Steve of the Heel and Face Pod, I am the patron saint of podcasting, the Warden Matt Ritter, and this has been your #1 wrestling podcast on Pornhub. Steve, you're more than welcome to hang out for a little bit. I don't know if you got to go, if you want to. We do a little bit of a post show. We hang out, we bullshit with everybody that's still around. So you're more than welcome to stick around, or if you got to go, you can take off. But again, thank you for coming on and doing the show with us. I do appreciate it. I'm glad it's something that you wanted to do. Yeah. So
I'll just stick around and bullshit. If it's only 2:00, let's go. I'm still hyped from the Royal Rumble, to be honest with you. So
good night, Bill. So our boy Mike pretty much runs our Facebook page, our Facebook group for Smackin It Raw over at Facebook. Yeah. And he got his account hacked. So like today he hit me up. He's like, hey, it's Mike. And I'm like, yeah, I know. It says Mike. Well, like, I know. He's like, oh, my account got hacked. It's a new account. I need you to re-add me to the group and make me an admin. So I hooked him up. He ran the chat. He put out the polls and everything today over on Facebook for all our stuff. Love you, Mike. Have a good night. Thank you for all of that and everything you do for us over there.
He also predicted Jimmy and Jay were going to be #1 and #2.
He did. He came in the fucking cafeteria chat. He's like, I just have a feeling that Jimmy and Jay are going to be #1. And then,
and when Jay came out, I said, oh, okay. And then Jimmy came out and I said, how the fuck did he know this?
Hey, and shout out, by the way, speaking of knowing shit, shout out to the sign guy about 2/3 of the way up from the hard camera. Did you notice he had every prediction correct? I don't know if it's that guy who used to be on Reddit or whatever predicting stuff that the WWE was doing, but Did you notice that guy? Like he had a sign.
I did not.
I don't know if he wrote it because it was a regular like poster board sign, right? I don't know. I mean, maybe he was ballsy enough to buy a whole pack and a Sharpie and just do it day of. But every time he had like Tiffany Stratton came out and he was like, it's Tiffy time. And, you know, he had different signs for like literally everybody. Like, I think he might have even had Thick Mama Pump up for a sign. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the hell was going on, but he was on point all night. That dude is the real that dude, and Chelsea Green are the real MVPs of the night.
Dude, Chelsea Green was amazing in the Royal Rumble, getting smashed and squashed. I'm a terrible wrestling fan when it comes to stuff like that. Like, I knew that our friends and a lot of people that I knew were in the Royal Rumble. I am terrible at paying attention to the crowd to look for people, even when I know that they're going to be there. There was one point where they were looking down from like seats that looked like they could have been Will and Allison's, and I was like, oh, I probably should look to see if Will and Allison were sitting there. Fuck, but they'd already changed this. Like I know Kenny from A Kenny for Your Thoughts, who we love, was out there. A lot of people that I interact with and I know on Twitter were all at the Royal Rumble. Joey Cardi from The Angle Radio was out there. A lot of our friends out there doing their thing, and I
don't know if you know him, but
scanning the crowd.
I don't know if you know him, but T-shirt guy was there. T-shirt guy was in the front row with his friends.
Okay, I do not know him, but yeah, I'm terrible with like scanning the crowd, or like even when people are like, oh, that's piped. Like, I don't pay enough attention to the crowd, I guess.
Yeah.
To me, the crowd's background noise to what's going on in the ring for the most part, or I'm just not paying enough attention. I don't know, but like I hear that and I'm like, I didn't notice that. Maybe I'm not paying enough attention.
I mean, it's also different because like you want to, like when you're there. Example, SummerSlam. When I went, it was an awful fucking time. Everyone who watched the show from home on Peacock, they were like, yeah, the show wasn't that bad. It was okay. Things were I had an awful fucking time and dealt with some terrible fucking shit.
Mike asked me to ask you to stop disgracing Detroit.
Do better.
And I told him I because he's from Michigan. He's from Kalamazoo, actually, home of Rob Van Dam. And I told him, I was like, listen, I don't think she hates the city of Detroit. She just had a really bad time there, and there was an asshole in the crowd. It's not about the city of Detroit.
No, it's about the fucking people in that goddamn building.
Yes.
And having to pay $100 for a fucking Uber. So Detroit, it's on my shit list right now. But if I'm gonna be honest, but like the first time I went, I had a blast. This time, not so fucking much. Just fucking.
Well, I'm a total Ohio fan for everything, so I'm actually kind of shocked that I'm kind of rooting for the Lions tomorrow anyway.
I mean, I figure as long as it's not the Packers and it's someone from our division, all right, cool, go get that. It's not going to be the Bears. I knew that from the get-go, from the beginning of this. Everyone was like, you need to get back on the Bears bandwagon. I'm like, I will if they actually start winning some shit. And they're like, this is the year. And I'm like, we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah, But so unless there's a suggestion from either of you, because I didn't have you write anything down, Travis and I talked, and one of the titles of one of the movies that won an award for the X-Biz Awards was MILFs in Miami, and SmackDown was in Miami, and I told Travis I might make the title of the episode MILFs in Miami. And then Tommy suggested, because Travis wanted the Royal Rumble in it, MILFs Rumble in Miami. So tentatively, MILFs Rumble in Miami is the title, unless you've got something better from the show.
I hate you.
You do
I
not.
know. I didn't write anything down because I wasn't.
I mean, it could be S-tier facials.
S-tier facials. There you go.
And that also is not bad. I mean, obviously, it's tentatively, it's up to you.
Well, so I feel like we have this discussion every week, and Vince does this every week. Like, Vince does the thumbnails, and I tell Vince, do the thumbnails. He does a great job. He's fucking fantastic at it. And every week, he's like, do you guys have any suggestions? I'm like, no, that's your job. Go find a thumbnail. Or he'll be like, I'm petitioning for this. And I'm like, you don't have to petition for it because you do it. Like, You can literally make the thumbnail just about whatever you want. I just tell you what the title is going to be. So because I don't know, I don't know if he's still watching, if he's made it home or not. He hasn't hopped on yet. I'm assuming not. But I'm going to text Vince MILF's Rumble in Miami as the title for this week.
You just make sure you get. I don't know what picture he can't use. I don't think he should use the picture of Mercedes that he sent us.
No, he can't. He said he was only going to use that if she showed up, and she didn't show up. So
which
I'm sure he'll be able to find something good from the Rumble tonight or tomorrow morning.
Jade
being in the ring would be fantastic. The Jade Bianca standoff actually really does fit, even though technically Tropicana Field's not in Miami.
And one of those people is a MILF.
I believe Bianca has, technically Bianca.
Technically, yes, because of Tez.
Okay.
So
I know people like Pat McAfee, but I'm biased. He was trash as a punter with the Colts.
I didn't even know. I don't watch football.
She's from Indiana, so
I wasn't. When Pat McAfee came in, I was just like, "Oh, cool! He was the punter for the Colts. Fine." I didn't give a shit about him like that. I don't watch football. I don't care about it.
But trash I've been hearing he might be the next punter eligible for the Hall of Fame. I don't know where trash comes from.
I mean, I think as a fan of the Colts and someone who lives in Indiana, maybe he didn't live up to the hopes, or maybe listen, not everybody's Robbie Gould. All right. Gold was gold. Well, Robbie Gould was the kicker for the Bears. Gold was gold. That's really all they had at that point. But we had that, and we had a defense. So those things. I will always hate the Colts, and specifically Peyton Manning, for ruining my Super Bowl hopes in my lifetime, because I was born in 1987, so I just missed that Super Bowl win by about 2 years.
All right.
So see, Robbie Gould is the man. We love Robbie Gould. When it counted, he was 50-50.
No.
I was against Pat McAfee when he first showed up. I was not a fan of him. Another guy that really wore me down, and I fucking love him. He was Kate's the shit he was saying on commentary was Kate's favorite part of the entire Rumble. She wouldn't let me, but I wanted to record her reactions and the things she was saying when people showed up, because she hasn't really been watching wrestling like that. So just her commentary. And I told her that I'm I should record this for TikTok. And she's like, don't record me. I didn't put on it. I'm okay, fine. So then I told Vince he should do it. And he also, I don't think, did it, which bummer, because between her and Melissa, I think that would be TikTok gold.
I watch it by myself. The things I say out loud to myself, I'm fucking hysterical. So I'm breaking my mouth, ooh,
I mean, for just doing it as a, hey, I don't know what I want to do after retiring from the NFL. And Baron Corbin and I used to be roommates in camps and stuff. To go from there and if you're transitioning from being a football player and you're going to go into pro wrestling, the one person that is going to make sure that you don't look like a complete idiot is going to be the guy that he trained with, Rip Rogers. So if you're going to train with somebody within the next 3 to 6 months of being actually decent in the ring, you're going to want to train with Rip Rogers. So he not only did that, but then he was, working that little Carolina indie for a while. He had a couple of matches or whatever, and then he just kind of got backward into wrestling. So, big props. Plus, he beat up Adam Cole, so that's a plus in my book too.
Careful, he's back there in Katie's background. If he hears you, you might get angry. You might feel the boom. I've got nothing but respect for Pat, especially, being retired from football at his age, coming in, doing this and doing it at the level that he did it. Obviously, Bad Bunny, same thing, who put his tour and everything on the side to train and come out and do what he did. Impressive as shit.
Yeah.
Logan Paul's a shitty human being, but again, his in-ring work speaks for itself.
Mhm.
Is what it is.
I mean, we were saying a long time ago, like before Bad Bunny showed up, before Logan Paul showed up, Pat McAfee was like the best celebrity who came into wrestling and like did it well. Like the matches he had with Cole were great. Like he pulled out shit that nobody expected him to. And I gave Pat McAfee hella credit for that, even though it was against Adam Cole, which is just fucking disrespectful, but like it's fine. And then like the Mania stuff he's done, and then Bad Bunny comes along and just is fantastic and has such a passion for it. Like Matt said, put his whole fucking tour on pause. He said, "Hold up, guys. I'm gonna go wrestle real quick. See you guys later."
So I've
Yeah, because
decided
that's
that
what
I
you
need to
want.
make. No,
I'm sorry. That's what you want. You
I was
want
gonna change
somebody to take it seriously. You want the outsiders to come in and just not do it because it's the thing to do, or they're bored, or they just want the cred or the pub or whatever. You want people to fucking take it seriously. Like, I don't jump on stage with a guitar just banging away at it, or whatever. It's like, take it seriously, right?
Mm-hmm. I've decided I need to make a stronger effort to talk AEW and watch all of it. Not all of it. So I was playing Diablo with John the other day, and Mike happened to be on, and he hopped in, and he told me that he used to watch us to get caught up on AEW. And I'm like, what do you mean used to? We cover AEW every week. He goes, not really. And I'm like, what do you mean not really? Like, Vince doesn't watch, but me and Katie watch. He goes, do you watch Rampage? I'm like, nobody fucking watches Rampage. Like, that doesn't count. Like, that's not fair. And I'm like, and I try and catch Collision as long as something like the Royal Rumble isn't going on. And then we got to the show today after that conversation. I had one thing from Dynamite from the entire show. So
I mean,
I need to do better.
I wasn't really like, I don't know, since I knew we were doing Rumble stuff, I wasn't really taking notes anyways, because I knew Rumble was going to be like the main focus. I mean, there was some stuff on Dynamite that was good. Hangman and Penta. Can't go fucking wrong. On Rampage, even though nobody watches it, this is the only reason I did watch it. Ruby Soho and Anna Jay, because Soraya's a fucking puppet master and had Harley kiss Angelo apparently a few weeks ago, which is disrespectful. That's why Ruby choked out Harley. I figured everything out. So then, getting choked out, she was like, "Oh, it was Anna. Anna made me do it. Ha ha ha." Which led to Ruby wanting to fight Anna Jay. Before defeating Ruby, Anna's like, just screams at her, "I didn't do it," put her in the Queen's Lair, and Ruby lost. So where that goes from here, I don't know. Well, they also were in Georgia, and that's where Anna Jay's from, so I'm just saying that it makes sense. But Anna Jay is like, which the fact that Ruby is that dumb, which love her, but like you're that stupid that you can't realize Saraya is the reason this is happening when she was against you being with Angela in the first place.
All right, so that's where a lot of these decisions kind of fuck with me, right? So you're doing this story about Ruby and Angelo, which is great because they're a real life couple, right?
I believe so, yes.
So like it's a fun thing. Saraya wants them apart. Say Big Money at Menards wants them apart because
yes.
They're losing focus on their team and everything like that.
Yeah.
So they're kind of working against it. Okay, fun. Then we finally get to the point to where Harley Cameron's brought in. Harley Cameron seduces him. Saraya shows Ruby a video where it doesn't show Angelo Parker like pushing her away, just them kissing. So now Ruby's mad at Angelo. Ruby's mad at Harley. Harley blames it on Anna. Why is Ruby losing to Anna Jay?
That I don't know. But also, Anna Jay slapped the shit out of Angelo Parker before that match. Because he was like, I have to be honest. Like, I have an idea of who I think is behind this. It's fucking Saraya, you're all stupid. And he's like, I have to ask, is this you? Did you do this? And she just like got the face, smacked the shit out of him. She got him like right here and like the ear too. And she's like, I'm done with these groups. I'm done with this family type shit. She's like, fuck you guys, I'm done.
Good.
She doesn't need
that. I needed her to get away from whatever was left of the JAS after the JAS broke up. Like that needed to be done and over with a long time ago. So that part makes me happy. I don't understand the mentality of like Ruby losing at this point, like her defeating Anna Jay, beating Anna Jay in this rage and all of that, and building some wins up before her eventual match, assuming it's a match against Saraya, like
I would
that
assume
makes
so.
her taking a bunch of L's going into a match with Saraya does not make sense. And honestly, I love Ruby. She has taken a lot of L's in AEW.
A lot of L's. I mean,
A lot of
that's
L's.
we been new, but like it's not really surprising. I will say if they end up like going through with this and doing the actual match with Saraya, Ruby's gonna protect her as much as she can because like Saraya doesn't. People were like, "Oh my god, Saraya's cleared. She's gonna wrestle." She's wrestled maybe 3 times since being cleared.
She's wrestled more than that.
I said maybe. Fine, 5. But like she doesn't wrestle, so Ruby's gonna be doing a lot of the lifting in that match when they get there.
Probably. Listen, if I hated every female wrestler that I thought had shitty tastes in boyfriends, I wouldn't like most of the female wrestlers. So
You wouldn't like
I
Gigi
can't
Nolan.
judge her. Huh?
You wouldn't like Gigi Nolan.
Exactly my point. So like I can't judge them on their taste in men. Ruby has not been booked well.
That's true. Also, what is wrong with Angelo Parker? He's a nice looking man. He's got a little bit of an accent. He's got the cool hair. What?
Okay, the first thing that's wrong with Angelo Parker is his choice in friends, because say big money at Menards. Second is calling himself Cool Hand Ange.
I don't think I don't know if he still calls himself that.
I hope not. But those were the biggest knocks against him, was being part of Never Rise with say big money at Menards, and then also joining the JAS and calling himself Cool Hand Ange.
Which I forget almost every time they're on TV that they were Never Rise. And Reed was the Never Rise supporter that there was.
Yeah.
And I forget every time that they're on TV that it was them.
Well, they're still Jagged 2.0 to me, so I don't care. Like I still hold them to my hearts as Chikara, Ring of Honor guys. So,
and see,
CZW.
I didn't watch that stuff, so I don't have that attachment to them. I just know the fools that were in NXT that did not impress me, who then came over to AEW and then teamed up with a bunch of people that I didn't like and continued to be kind of dorky. I don't know what they're really capable of, because I don't think in AEW or WWE we've seen what they're capable of outside of comedy shit.
So I just found out you admitted that you were born in 87, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was my first memory of the Browns going to the AFC Championship. So if we're going to talk football there for a minute. So yeah, I'm significantly older than the both of you.
Do I look older than 87? Did you think
what's that?
Do I look?
No. I'm just saying, like I'm way older. I'm way older.
You don't look much older than me.
Oh, thanks. I actually just turned 50 on Wednesday, which is
wow.
I would not believe it or not. I know, right?
I would have said like 42.
Yeah, these charming baby face good looks, man. They just don't crack.
Exactly.
But no, I see a lot of in kind of my frustration, but and I didn't understand why they would go either, because even to WWE to be Ever Rise, because so brief history. I don't want to bore you guys too much, but a lot of these guys that are on the main 2 right now are the old remnants of the old Ring of Honor, Chikara, CZW triumvirate of Philly, right? Like when ECW kind of imploded, whatever you want, and Vince bought all the remnants, the name and all that stuff up. All the other guys that Vince didn't bring in kind of did their own things, right? And so the Ever Rise guys, they were floating in between Chikara and Ring of Honor as tag team, and they were pretty good. I mean, they were called Jagged 2.0 because Angelo, and we know him as Angelo now, actually used to wear a mask, and he had a jigsaw, and he was called Jigsaw. and it was a jagged piece, right? So he was
Okay.
evil because he was an evil puzzle piece, so he was jagged. And then Scott
Kinda
Parker
like-
was his friend.
Are you familiar with Saw? And are you
I'm
familiar
familiar with
stuff like
Saw, but it was about 10, 15 years before that. So it was
that? Okay, never mind.
So yeah.
I was gonna say
I
there was a
totally get what
thing.
you're saying.
There was a thing in Saw where Mark Hoffman used a serrated blade that made a jagged jigsaw piece as opposed to a surgical knife.
Hoffinator.
So I thought maybe that's where they got it from, the jagged jigsaw piece, the serrated blade.
What year was that?
That was, I think, 5 or 6. So we'll say Saw 6. 6. 2009.
Oh, we're talking. Yeah, we're talking Chikara probably around 2005. We're talking about.
That's the year I
probably
graduated
almost-
high school.
Yeah, see, there you go. So, yeah. What like now we're bullshitting. Like, what wrestling were you kind of into in when you were young, like high school? Like, what kind were you guys doing?
So I've always been into WWE. I had friends that were into WCW, so I was always kind of aware of what was going on in WCW, but I had always been kind of a WWE guy. I also had a friend who was really into ECW who would show me and tell me about all the cool stuff going on there. But I've always, from probably, I remember being young and knowing and being aware of like Bam Bam Bigelow and Hulk Hogan and things like that from like the early 90s. But my love of pro wrestling probably came around like 96 once The Undertaker and Mankind got into their feud, and went from there on all the way up to, I want to say like 2011 or 12. And then I fell out for a couple years and then I came back. So I missed a lot of the main CM Punk stuff, surprisingly, for as much as I enjoy CM Punk. Like, I missed the summer of Punk. I came back at the tail end of Punk's career as he was leaving WWE.
Yeah.
I've gone back. We're doing our show Return to Wrestling. So Travis has been having me watch everything from the first Nitro in 1995. We've made it all the way up to Great American Bash 1998, which was Sting versus the Giant in a singles match for the tag team titles in the main event.
Okay.
I know a lot of what happens after this. I remember the Filthy Animals. I was watching the Filthy Animals. I was, I'm sorry. That sucks.
It's the
Men's
worst.
are so disgusting.
True.
I remember everything that Russo and Bischoff did. Like, I was fully actively watching WCW through like the worst part of WCW at that point. I've gone back and watched a lot of stuff from ECW, whether it was with Kyle from the Apron Bump or just on my own through like the documentaries and everything they've done on ECW. So I'm familiar with a lot of that. The only ROH stuff I know and I get is from when I listened to Kyle from the Apron Bump do shows on Ring of Honor and cover that. I watched a little bit of TNA in the early 2000s when they got on to TNN, Spike TV, whatever you want to call it.
Oh, that shit was fucking gold.
I watched some of that, but I didn't get too hardcore into it. And then once you got guys like Hogan and stuff coming in, I was completely out of it. So
yeah, that makes sense because my frame of reference kind of starts in the 80s, obviously, with the guy that you hate really, really, really badly. And actually, I was a Flair fan anyway for most of that. Then like ROH 95. So then I, of course, lived through the whole Attitude Era, lived through all that stuff, lived through the Monday Night Wars, getting into fights on the, not fist fights, thankfully, but getting into arguments with the other guys in the other sections of the quads. It was either we wanted to watch Raw, Monday Nitro, or WCW, Monday Nitro, or Monday Night Football. So that was a big, huge fight that we all got into. We had to actually like alternate nights. It was crazy. And then as soon as I got out of college or whatever, around 97, 98, kind of fell out of it just for a little bit, but picked back up when I saw, I still kept watching WWE all the way through, don't get me wrong, but then I started focusing on trying to go to more indie shows and more other stuff than just WWE. And met a friend of mine at work, and we just started going to local shows around Columbus. But then he was like, "Hey, I got a buddy who is going to be used as an extra for this promotion that's coming around. It's called Ring of Honor. You want to go?" I'm like, "Hell fucking yeah, I want to go." And I went up to the Cleveland Armory, and that's the first time I saw this massive Hawaiian dude, according to DJ Pooh, Samoa Joe. It's the first time I saw Cole Cabana. I forget who else was there. I think CM Punk might have been there. So yeah, it was like 2004 when 2004, 2005 when Ring of Honor was about ready to just explode. And then a lot of those guys then started following Chikara, because that's when Ring of Honor and Chikara were doing a lot of, I don't know if you're familiar with Chikara, and a lot of time. And then that was also the time of the CCW invasion. So you had Chris Hero, so you had Claudio, so you had all these people coming over from CCW for their invasion angle. It was a wild time, man. The DIY era of pro wrestling in the 2000s was crazy. And all those guys are now in either AEW, WWE.
So I like to say that I'm vaguely familiar with a lot of stuff outside of what I watch. I have a lot of friends, Justin, who's in the chat from the Get Show podcast, and Vince. They go to a lot of indie stuff here in Chicago. Will does a lot of indie stuff. He also is the only person I know that watches the NWA. As we talked about earlier, TC, Will, Powerbomb Jutsu, they watch a lot of TNA. And through Twitter and everything else, I'm able to kind of keep up. We've had Mr. Warren Hayes on the show, who I love a few times, and I'm glad he's doing better. If you hear or see this, Warren, we love you. He's a big New Japan fan. He's had a goal of getting me to watch New Japan. Brett from the Brainbuster Boys actually made me sit down and watch a couple New Japan matches and cover them for his show over there. So I get information and I know essentially what's going on everywhere else without actually consuming the content. Katie has a picture of herself. I don't know if you want to know when she was born, supposedly, because she has not been able to provide this picture after me knowing her for like 5 years. But supposedly is a picture of herself in a crib wearing an Austin 316 t-shirt as a baby. And then when did you like get into wrestling?
So ironically enough, I found older / baby pictures of myself. Not that one. I wasn't even looking for these. I ended up finding them somehow. I was doing laundry and I found them in a random box. It's close. It's like the same time frame. I'm just not in the Stone Cold shirt. I'm like, God damn it! I thought that was the one. So we're getting close. We're almost there. And you haven't known me for 5 years, maybe 4. So when I actually like started, so it's hard to like remember because I have an older brother and he was watching, and he's 5 years older than me. So things I distinctly remember as a kid, like I want to say it was like early 2000s because I'm a child. So I was only watching like WWE stuff. I didn't know like anything else at the time, obviously.
Right.
I've stuck with it ever since I was, I want to say like 2 or 3 I've been watching. Never really stopped. When AEW was starting, I was into that. I was like, oh, cool. Like I was at one point in time a Bucks fan. This is common knowledge. It's how I met my co-host.
Pre-AEW Bucks fan.
Pre-AEW. But like I was watching like Being the Elite on YouTube and all their kind of stuff. So that's when I like knew that they were making this company. I was like, oh, cool. Like another more wrestling. Let's go. And I mean, AEW is kind of the reason, ironically, that I started podcasting. So like through AEW and this doing podcasting, I've been able to watch a little bit of WCW, and I hated every moment of it, and that's because of Kyle from.
Okay, to be fair, you watched one WCW show, and it was the worst It was 1995 WCW, and it was the pay-per-view with the fucking match on the back of the semi truck with Dustin.
Yeah.
What the fuck did they call it?
I don't remember what the match was called, but it was uncensored. 95.
It was the King of the Road match.
Yeah, that bullshit.
95 King of the Road match.
So I watched that entire pay-per-view. No, it was awful.
No.
The whole thing was ass. But I've watched that pay-per-view. I've watched a little bit of TNA stuff because, again, everything I've watched outside of AEW and WWE is because of Kyle. It's like TNA, ECW from like before it was like WWE's ECW, which I did watch at the time, and it was weird. I don't really watch New Japan stuff. That's all my co-host. That's all her thing. Like Matt, I'll catch stuff on Twitter and like kind of keep myself up to date and kind of know what's going on. Same thing with like TNA now. I just don't have time. I'm busy.
Yeah.
Well, you figure, so she does the She Leads Showcase on Thursdays. She preps for that show. She does Smackin' It Raw with me every week. So she has to watch, at a minimum, Raw, NXT, SmackDown, and Dynamite. And then if she can catch Collision or Rampage, that on top of working your day job and then prepping for stuff that I make you watch for getting off, or any list of movies I might send you because you just started watching movies 3 years ago for the first time.
No, I fucking didn't. Stop spreading this false narrative. Asshole. No,
So,
but like, yeah, I don't really have time. And like Matt said, like prepping for She Lead. Thankfully, now that I do like news and rumors for this show, a lot of it transfers over to this show. Obviously, timing is going to be different for some stuff, and I do like the news and rumors for getting off, so it's like getting 2 weeks worth of horror movie type news, which that's just fun because I like learning about what's coming out and what's going to happen.
I don't know how I find time to do it because I do Creation Conversation generally 2 days a week, Smackin' It Raw every week, Getting Off every other week. Once a month, I have to binge watch a month's worth of WCW to do Return to Wrestling.
Right.
I've got a 3-year-old. I've got a day job. I've got a wife that I have to spend time on, and I'm rehabbing this house. I have no idea how I find time to do everything that I do and still get somewhere between 7 and 5 hours of sleep a night.
Yeah, this 9 to 5 gimmick is really getting old.
My gimmick isn't 9 to 5. My gimmick is 2:30 to 10:30 p.m., which is why we do everything so late. I stay up till 2 in the morning, which is coming very quickly. And then I try and go to bed sometime between 2:30 and 3. And then depending on when my daughter wakes me up between 9 and 10, that's how much sleep I get. Oof. If she doesn't wake up in the middle of the night, which she does a lot. Yeah. So.
Well, right now I'm in between two like teaching jobs, and I'm trying to get back full time into the classroom again. And I figure a great way to be able to like do both at the same time is I think I'm gonna try to establish the wrestling group at the school, the next school I work at, just to get an excuse to be able to watch wrestling at school.
Like Mr. Perry does.
That's right.
Yeah. No, Victor Tyler Perry's fantastic, and the stuff he's done with that wrestling group and for those kids is really cool shit. And I'd love to see more schools do that and have that.
True.
For some people, spinning is a job. However, like I said, it is 1:34. So we're gonna end the show here. I want to thank everyone for joining us. I never got my post-show bathroom break, so I'm gonna take that now and try and get some sleep so I can enjoy having a night without the child and being able to sleep through the whole thing for once. Again, Steve, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming on, for wanting to do the show with us. I had a blast with you. Katie, as always, you're fantastic for being here and supporting me when Vince doesn't show up to work. You're the best.
Oh my God, so much fun finally talking to you guys, Katie, talking to you. Matt is fucking amazing. I loved it.
I'm glad you had a good time. Just and everyone else watching, thank you guys watching us. Go check out Steve. Go check out Katie. I hope you guys enjoy their content as well. And for Katie and Steve, I'm Matt. Good night.